There it is. All I needed to hear was a sniffle.
Actually, I feel really good. Wake up.
Well, I get a little nervous when it's 56 and I don't see you.
Don't blame you. It was a few minutes later than I had hoped it would be. I was talking with my wife, actually listening. And she goes, "Hey, you got to go." And I look at the time on the news and it says 5:55. I go, "I really have." Yes.
I love when there's one bad call. And I was dozing in this game because it wasn't much of a game. And I get the random text from someone I haven't heard from in a year about officiating.
And that was the difference in the game.
Right. Didn't have anything to do with Joe Burrow getting hurt.
Right.
What was the call they were mad?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Because you know what? Funny enough, my friends were freaking out about something too, and I wasn't really paying full attention.
I had kind of done a couple of these in the second half. It was 10:38.
Yeah, once Burrow got hurt, I was, it's hardly interesting.
See what happens when you lose a Joe Burrow? When you don't have a Joe Burrow?
Well, I'll tell you what. That Mark Andrews is going to be a big loss.
Big.
It's a bit of a dirty tackle when you allow. Yeah. He knocked 3 Ravens out of the game because he was the one who sprained Lamar's ankle, and then he delivered the hit on Odell that hurt his shoulder.
That was a vicious. I mean, when he came, he came over the top with some anger.
Nothing wrong with it's football.
No. It was just a violent tackle.
Yeah, the tackle on Andrews though, that's wrong, and that's why it's wrong, because that's exactly what can happen. That's a loss.
Oh my God, I didn't see. Did you see the goal the Senators won on?
The overtime one?
Batted.
May or may not be play of the day.
That's a pretty good goal.
It was wild. With 2 seconds left in overtime, too.
After the Wings come from 4-0 down.
Yeah, it was a excruciating game to be a Wings fan. Wings never win in overtime, by the way. If it's ever going to overtime, live bet the other team.
Well, hopefully someday soon you can experience playoff overtime, which is, real.
Overtime.
Yeah. Regular season overtime in the NHL is like the Oklahoma drill.
It's so gimmicky.
It's awful.
They're talking about putting a shot clock in. No, because they just regroup all the time.
You can't do that. It's ridiculous. Okay, here we go.
Why can't we just play 5 more minutes?
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. We have been building to this all week. It's a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We're ready to go. Hope you are as well. Hope you've had a good week, and we thank you for spending at least part of it with us. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. Ready for the weekend, ready for some football, ready for another good NFL weekend. It started last night, although the injuries, oh boy, that was a tough night last night for both teams, even Baltimore in the win. And obviously Cincinnati in the loss, losing Joe Burrow at the end of the first half. That was about all she wrote for the Bengals.
You know, Mark, we have a bit of a love affair with Joe Burrow on this show. In fact, for those, if you're just joining us recently, about a year or so ago that we adopted it's really nice to have a Joe Burrow. And we would apply it to damn near any sport or anything in life also. What is it they need? Well, it'd be really nice
Joe Burrow.
if they had a Joe Burrow. And I think the Bengals got a firsthand look as to what life is like with and without a Joe Burrow. But Burrow hurt, throwing wrist. Right now it's diagnosed as a sprain. We'll see what his immediate future holds. Ravens suffered some big injuries. I mean, at one point, Mark Andrews knocked out of the game with an ankle. He's season-ending surgery. Lamar was knocked out of the game momentarily. Odell gets knocked out of the game late. All three tackled by the same guy, by the way. So, yeah, the Ravens won. We could ask the question, did the Ravens win the AFC North last night? I mean, think about how things have gone in the last 3 days for the Ravens. Both Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow have gotten hurt. And Kenny Pickett's the quarterback of the other team in the division. I mean, do we really think somebody besides Baltimore is going to win this division?
I don't. But I will say last night was a tough win, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
To lose basically your number one receiver. Lamar said he's my number one receiver.
Yeah.
It's not me making it up.
No.
I'm not Carissa Thompson here. This is actually what Lamar said.
I have a feeling that's going to become a thing. Like going forward. Like in all walks of sports. On the air, being interviewed, what have you. This is going to be Carissa Thompson's legacy right here. She's going to be a one-liner. No, I mean a well-compensated hell of a gig one-liner, but still.
Boy, I'd hate to be her boyfriend. Husband, whatever.
Why is that?
She's making that up. What else is she making up?
Well, I mean,
you never know.
I think
you go through your whole life having no idea.
I think most men don't want to know. Actually, I really, just keep making it up. I think you can tell by the sports fans who are like, I don't care about this. So anyway, back to Thursday Night Football. Yeah, it's a big loss. I will say, happening just past the midway point of the season. Ravens are going to have a bye coming up. It's a chance for Lamar to, I got to go different areas. It helps that the Ravens have really spent a lot of resources in the last year providing more places for him to throw the ball than just Mark Andrews.
100%, David. It's still his favorite guy. It's still his go-to when he's in trouble.
Yep.
It's still the third down, move the chains guy. And they're going to have to figure some things out. Because as highly as we thought of Baltimore, there's no way, at least for me, David, that I can think as highly of them this morning as I did heading into last night. That's a monster loss.
It is a very big loss. I don't think it's the Chiefs losing Kelsey because I actually think the Ravens have more around Mark Andrews than the Chiefs have around Kelsey. But it's in the area code. And that in and of itself is very significant. But Baltimore improves to 8-3. And, man, Bills are 5-5. Bengals are 5-5. Chargers are 4-5. I mean, this whole wild card spots are really opening up in the AFC. I mean, think about it. We talked about the Bills' schedule the rest of the way. Well, what if the Bengals are without Burrow for a time? They ain't going to the playoffs. You kidding?
No.
And the Chargers are going to keep charging as long as Brandon Staley's our head coach. So you could count them out. Huh. I don't know. Playoff spots seem to be opening up here. The Houstons, the Indianapolises, hell, maybe the Las Vegases. Maybe even the Denver Broncos.
David, dare I say, maybe even the New York Jets.
Now, stifle yourself, Edith. Come on. I mean, what's a bigger loss? The Ravens losing Mark Andrews or the Jets having to play Zach Wilson?
Well, it's the Jets having to play Zach Wilson. There is no doubt. But if they win this weekend.
Oh, please, I know. They'll get to 5-5.
Exactly. And if we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts at 5-5, we would have to then talk about the New York Jets at 5-5.
But you have to admit, the Colts schedule is a little different than the Jets. The Jets have at Buffalo, 2 games with Miami. I mean, the Jets got some meat on the bone. The Colts got to play that AFC South schedule. It's a little easier.
I understand. But all you're trying to do, by the way, can you now agree with me that it's going to be 9, or do you still think it's going to be 10?
No, it's going to be 9. There's at least one team in the AFC that's going to get in with 9. That's unbelievable. But big win for the Ravens, big loss for the Ravens and Mark Andrews, and we'll wait to hear about Odell. Although, let's face it, they need Odell healthy for January. That's really, Odell was purchased for January. Now, he was supposed to help out before January to help them win the division and get a better seeding, but
right, because that 2 seed's there for the taking for Baltimore.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, there's still an outside shot at the 1.
Well, I think more than an outside shot. I mean, don't you think it's largely dependent on, in both conferences, don't you think it's largely dependent on who wins Monday night?
Yes. It will go a long way.
Because the meat on the bone for the Eagles schedule begins Monday night. Kansas City, Buffalo, still have to go to Dallas. Now, they got 2 guaranteed wins. They play 2 against the Giants. But, the meat on the bone for the Eagles is coming up. And to me, if they win Monday, that's a dagger to Dallas. Dallas is still holding out hope that, Philly will lose a couple of these other games before they get to us. We'll beat them, and we can still win this division.
I think you're more right if the Chiefs beat the Eagles, that the 1 in the NFC is up for grabs more than the AFC if the Eagles win. Because I look at the Chiefs' schedule the rest of the way, and it's not overly difficult. They got the Packers on the schedule. They've got the Raiders on the schedule. Yeah, they've got the Patriots on the schedule. There's a lot more wins. A lot more what we would look at as, hey, they're going to win that game on the Chiefs schedule than what the Ravens have the rest of the way. But that's why I consider it an outside shot.
You could argue that the wrong team won if you're a Dolphin fan. Like, I was surprised by how many, those who cover the Dolphins, those that I follow who have a connection to the Dolphins. And the question before the game last night was, so who do we want to win? And, all right, so many of them said they were rooting for the Ravens. I'm like, what? We're doing the math differently. If I'm a Dolphin fan, I'm trying to be the 2 seed. Why am I rooting for the Ravens? I'm thinking I'm going to win this division. I want the best damn seed possible. I want to face that 9 and 8, 7 seed in the first round, and then I want to host Baltimore or whoever was coming out of that division. So you could argue the wrong team won last night if you're a Dolphin fan. Although in theory, don't these 2 play late in the season, like second to last game of the year?
Yeah, Miami finishes what with it? Cowboys, Ravens.
Bills. Cowboys and Bills at home. Once again, the Dolphins have to go to Baltimore. They never get to host. They host Baltimore in the playoffs. They go to Baltimore in the regular season. It's a remarkable scheduling squirt or quirk.
Either one.
Right. It works. Miller and Moulton on a Football Friday.
Football Friday. Lee Sterling, Pat Kirwan on the show today. And we will talk a little hoop in the bonus hour as well.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Huh. I even booked that. You would think I'd remember that.
Well, Joe Burrow got hurt. I can't expect everything out of you this morning, David.
Thank you. Yes.
Some of us may need a moment. Some of us may need two.
About 9:30 last night. All right. My world changed. I lost Joe Burrow. It's like my safety blanket. It's gone. What am I going to do? How am I going to get through the weekend? I got the 2 plane flights. I got 2 games. I got stuff to do. How am I going to do it without Joe Burrow?
Think about if you're a Bengals fan right now.
Oh boy. Oh man.
0 for 15 on the road in your last 15 primetime games.
Right. We said it was a trend. We got yelled at.
We usually do.
Yeah. I mean, we suck. We know it.
People do not like trends when they're not on your side, if you know what I mean.
Yep. We'll make our picks, by the way. You can go the other way if you'd like. Miller and Moulton. Lee Sterling with his picks in 45 minutes. The starting 5 is 25 minutes away. I'm Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yep, MSU and Butler. It's the Gavitt games where the Big Ten plays the Big East. It's just kind of a random. I think last year they played last year, but that's why Michigan
It's
played
Friday night. I'm
John's.
surprised.
Yeah, it's a little odd, but that was the Rutgers Georgetown game.
Who won that game, by the way?
Rutgers covered. They were 10.5 point favorites, won by 11.
John Rothstein has a pretty good tweet here. Todd Golden was 16 years old when Leonard Hamilton was hired at Florida State in 2002.
Leonard Hamilton he looks great for his age, but
He's like
my
74, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's all I know in my lifetime. Florida State basketball is Leonard Hamilton.
Coach Ham
got screwed the pandemic year.
Oh my goodness!
Yep.
They were good.
They were nasty.
That was a Final Four team.
I also think this is a very slappy Michigan State thing to say, but I also think that was Izzo's best shot that he's ever had at a second natty. Was that team peaking at the perfect time? Everyone wants to say, "Oh, they were only like I think they were 9th in the nation when the shut down," but they had beaten Garza in Iowa, Ohio State, who was a top 5 team, and I forget who else.
That's about what Florida State was too. Florida State. Florida State was going to be like the last 2 or a 3 seed, and nobody was going to want a part of them.
They were peaking at the perfect time.
And they were long and athletic and experienced.
That was Patrick Williams, right?
I don't know.
I think that was him. Got drafted by the Bulls. 5th overall, 4th overall. Yeah, he was one and done at Florida State.
And go Raiders, you did catch it all in the family reference.
That's the best text we've ever received right there. Guy went to the Diamond District yesterday and dropped $4K on earrings and mentioned, thank you for sponsoring the bonus hour.
Let's go.
That's huge.
That'll get you feeling good.
Damn, how big are those earrings?
So I had ESPN2 on because the end of Sports Center was on, and ESPN had on F1 racing. It says it's live from Vegas. How could it be live from Vegas? It's 3 a.m.
Huh.
If there was ever a city to be live at 3 a.m, it'd be Vegas.
Okay, no, F1 replay. All right, there we go. I replay on one side, live on the other.
Nice.
That's good graphics.
Can't you cover that up? Can't you just put or blur it or something so it's not misleading?
Hey, they're doing a best of. You just rewind it.
Yeah, by the way, David, I told Mark this, but we'll be able to get stuff from Monday and Tuesday on the air Thursday. So,
you sure we're going to have anything good?
Well, your Tuesday
we better.
Lineup. Hint, hint. I do have a couple other things earmarked, of course.
Yeah, you can run a lot of that. You basically got to make sure you fill over the starting 5, so you got to have a 30 segment.
Right.
And you got to have a 30 segment at the end.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Hey, did you see the news out of Ann Arbor?
Boy, did I ever, David. They just said we're going to accept the punishment.
Well, what the heck? I thought they're mad as hell and they're not going to take it anymore. I thought they're throwing TVs out of 8-story windows. I thought they're going to sue everybody. Harbaugh wants his day in court. I am going to speak on my behalf.
Well, he recanted that by the next day because he knew he wasn't going to speak. He thinks he's Judge Judy.
What happened? I mean, come on. They're the victims in this, Mark.
No, they're the victors and best. Oh, victims, victors. What? I don't know what the hell it is anymore, David.
But
Hail to the victims? Hail to the victims? How does that song go?
I think it sounds very much the same. So, So upon further review, I mean, what did they get a phone call from somebody up in the booth? Is this New York and the NFL? And all of a sudden, wait, I'm hearing in my ear, oh, it's a catch. Upon further review, maybe the 3-game suspension's not so bad after all. Because, Mark, you do know what happens if they go any further.
Well, David, there's one key part of this sentence in saying that Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, and the Big Ten have resolved their pending litigation. And the conference agreeing to close its investigation into allegations of sign stealing. There it is. That's it, everybody. That's the line. Because if they close the investigation, well, they're not going to find anything else out.
Well, and even
or
if
they'd already found enough out that they had Michigan dead to rights.
Well, it's possible. It's possible that maybe somebody pointed out, listen, just so you know, if we go to court, like evidence gets to be revealed. If we accept this, we can just leave everything to one's imagination. Plus, we get to release a statement that says, and the Big Ten has found no direct correlation between the actions of Ollie North, or whatever that guy's name is. What?
Connor Stallions.
Of Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh. That blankety blank did it all on his own. We are shocked and appalled. Well, they didn't put the shocked and appalled in, but everything else they put in. Meanwhile, the Big Ten didn't say that, but that's okay. That's all right. Michigan just wants to get it out to their folk. Nothing to see here. It's still the big bad Big Ten, and you know what? We're being the adults. We're just going to take our punishment and deal with it. It's unfair, but we're bigger than this. It's going to be very awkward if Michigan gets to the Big Ten title game and they win it. Very awkward. Tony Batiti, first ever.
Please.
Man, oh man. That's on Fox. Who's handling the stage? See, Gus doesn't leave the booth, so I don't know who will be going on stage, but man, that's going to be a rough assignment. Whew. Don't know how you're going to be heard. The Michigan people, they are not going to quiet down. I would just send the sponsor. If that trophy's sponsored, I'd send Ford, Chevy, whatever. I'd just send that guy up here. Do the trophy.
If Michigan wins, I would really suggest to the folks at Fox, and I know they don't really listen to people like me, but I would very much suggest to the Fox people to kill all crowd mics during the trophy presentation, because there will be a chant.
Oh yeah, the multiple, yeah, and then oh my goodness, because remember Harbaugh will be coaching that game. Oh my goodness, this will be like those war videos that we saw with the ticker tape parades in the Canyon of Heroes. I mean, when Harbaugh goes up to accept that trophy, if in fact they can get there, I mean, if they get there, they're going to win. I mean, they're playing Iowa, but no, I mean, it'll be, 9-3, but they'll win. And, whew, man, I mean, he'll be greeted like a MacArthur. I mean, Eisenhower. I mean, John Glenn returning from space. I mean, my goodness. Sorry, Michigan fan, to reference a great Ohio in like that, but what can you do? thinking of Canyon of Heroes. I mean, I could go Messier, but, just like to leave that for myself.
So Michigan accepting the 3-game suspension of Jim Harbaugh.
We did nothing, by the way, nothing wrong. That Stallions guy, it was all him.
The AP put out this week that he never turned in any expense report, so I don't know how he got his money back. I want to find out how much money this guy spent to do this.
Well, you can't submit an expense report. That's documentation. That's knowledge that it's happening. I mean, doesn't every department have a petty cash? I mean, Mark, you ran departments. I mean, do you have paperwork to justify the petty cash part of the department?
No, I had the trade back in the day, and if someone did something they needed a little extra, I'd just hand them a few extra gifts. Here, just go away.
Do you think that's how he got compensated? Okay, it's just, I mean, what's that great deli? I had the sandwich in September. Starts with a Z, right?
Zingerman's.
I mean, maybe the guy can eat at Zingerman's till about 2034.
Ooh. Now you're talking.
They got them all over. Hell, they're in the airport now even. They're everywhere. I mean, one or two other places, I mean, who knows? They could probably throw in some Starbucks. Just saying. But, man, they changed their tune. Huh. They were going to court today.
Right. Harbaugh was waiting to fight. He couldn't wait to fight this. Couldn't wait to get their side out because he did nothing wrong. And now, just accepting of the 3-game suspension. But the important part to note is the Big Ten has closed their investigation into sign-stealing allegations.
Nothing to see here.
Huh.
Pardon. See what I did there? Nothing to see here. Yep, that's it. It's over.
To me, that should be our poll question today. Did Michigan get off too light? Or are you okay with a suspension? Something along those lines.
So is this porridge? Is that what we're asking? Is it
absolutely?
All right. Yes, no, maybe so.
Too soft, too hard, just right.
Right.
How is the bed that Harbaugh is sleeping in tonight?
Right.
What's his sleep number? Oh, I'm sorry. That's a different ad.
Right. Maybe one day they'll sponsor our show.
I own one of them. It would be nice.
My mother-in-law's got one. It's amazing. Most amazing thing is that apparently you can use your phone. Okay, put your phone on the bed and it will inflate your mattress through the phone. Most amazing thing I've ever seen. Thought I was having an out-of-body experience. I'm talking to the sleep number person. I go, wait a minute. What'd you just say? Take your phone, put it on the bed. Everything's all set up. You set the thing you want it at. It'll inflate the mattress. I go, seriously? What is this, out of a movie? A sci-fi movie? So sure enough, put the phone on the bed. Voila.
Maybe it inflates footballs too. That's how they got that NFL sponsorship.
That's I'll bet Kraft was instrumental in that.
Miller and Moulton. The starting 5 is next. Thanks so much for listening on a Football Friday right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I can't figure out why people get so pissed off that we talk about the Michigan scandal, that we're not supposed to talk about it. I don't know how we're supposed to ignore that story.
Well, especially now.
Right. We did 50. I mean, I got a text. I'm done with you guys. Enough of this Michigan scandal. I don't know what we're supposed to do.
It's news now. I could see why it would get redundant early on.
But the story just ended.
It's the biggest story in college college
Yeah,
football.
they're the number 3 team in the country.
It's the biggest story.
Right.
It's not like they're just a Joe Schmo. It's Michigan. You don't want the news? I don't know what to tell you. It's one thing when there's no new developments or anything. But yesterday's news is significant.
What scandal?
No, we got a somewhat nasty text going. I'm done with you guys because you're what was it? Love you guys, but I can't listen to any more Michigan scandal talk. They're the number 3 team in the country. The story ended yesterday, and we talked about it for 8 minutes. I'm sorry. I don't know how we're supposed to ignore that story.
Honestly, Mark, forget college sports. It's the biggest story in sports, probably, right now.
There's this thing called the National Football League.
Well, I know that.
I don't know if you're aware of it.
That's always king, of course, and we're gonna.
Well, then I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, like we're
if you were to ask sports fans around the country this morning, bigger story. All right, Michigan Harbaugh scandal, and we'll even use the word scandal. Mark Andrews injury. Mark Andrews injury would win.
Right, but I guess my point is it's not like we're talking Harbaugh for 4 hours on this show.
We did one show. Was it last week? About 2 weeks ago? We did a show where it was the dominant story, and by the end of the show, people were like, "Is this you gonna do this often?" We're like, "Nope, today."
I don't need Tropical Cyclone 22 to be doing anything. I'm just saying.
Is that what's in the Gulf?
Yes.
TS-22?
TS-22.
Is it tropical storm or tropical cyclone?
TC-22.
Oh, it's TC-22. That's a
Carpenter 22.
That's a distant cousin.
My oldest friend in the world, TC.
I thought you were like channeling an old-time Everblade there for a second. I'm like,
No.
wait, because wasn't Lindgren 22? No, back in the day. What number was Terry?
1, I think.
Terry 1? Okay. Thought you were going old school Everblades there. Like, wow, look at him. 6:37 a.m. Well, 8 minutes, Martin, and it will get mentioned in the starting five. It'll get mentioned. Well, I mean, Martin, just because you grow up in one state, does that mean you can't move and work in another?
I guess we should have just beat who do the Gators play this week? We should really be pounding.
Well, Missouri.
Yeah, we screwed up. Gators, Missouri, 5-5 Gators. We should be really beating them to death on the Florida Sports because they're a relevant effing story right now.
They will be talked about next week. Little
Here we go.
Little Gators Knowles action.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, and that's when Lee Sterling joins us to make his picks. He went 1-1 on his two big picks last week. He had 40-plus unit plays, one college, one pro. He went 1-1 on them, which for Lee, by his standards, that's awful.
He's not had the best year.
Well, not with us, okay? He's actually done better for his clients, but not with us. So, but he's back. Top of the hour, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com. You know, Mark, one thing we've learned in the last couple of weeks, there is a faction of sports fan out there that does not have the sense of humor about this Michigan hardball story that we do. And, you know, like Martin in our Twitch chat room is like, okay, enough. I like you guys, but enough.
I get it. The story ended yesterday.
Right. That's it. And
the number 3 team in college football.
That's it. It's over. It's over. And yes, we did have some fun at their expense. There's no doubt about it. And I understand some of you are like, enough already. So, okay, got it. We hear you. But time now for
the starting five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the starting 5 on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Now, see, if I wanted to be snarky, I could have led with you know what. But instead, NFL last night, Joe Burrow got hurt. And from that moment on, it really ceased to be a competitive game. The Ravens took care of the Bengals 34-20. Baltimore improved to 8-3, and Cincy falls to 5-5. Man, what a difference 5 days make. Remember when the Bengals were on a roll and they were hosting Houston, and hell, they were going to go into Baltimore and be in first place. And now Burrow's hurt with a sprained throwing wrist, and no idea what the future is for the Bengals, but they lose just about all tiebreakers. The only team they win a tiebreaker with is the Bills. Otherwise, they're about as bad a 5-5 team for tiebreakers as you can be. Mark Andrews, fractured ankle, out for the year, surgery, bit of a dirty tackle. And that same guy knocked Lamar out of the game for a short time with a sprained ankle, and late in the game, had like a 40-yard running start and just had a thunder. What would you call that? Like
it was damn near a tomahawk chop, David.
Yeah,
I mean, it was
sledgehammer.
Yeah,
almost.
there you go. It was a sledgehammer right.
To Odell Beckham's shoulder, puddled him into the ground. He left the game, not to return.
Odell was shimmying, shaking, trying to make a move back to the inside to beat 2 guys, and that's why players don't quit on plays.
Right. Lamar, 2 TD passes. Gus Edwards, 2 touchdown runs for the 8-3 Ravens. One other NFL note. Texans linebacker Denzel Perryman. Remember earlier in the week, he was suspended 3 games for repeated dirty hits. Well, they already had the appeal, and it got dropped down to 2. So he'll miss this week against Arizona, but he will miss a week from Sunday, key AFC South matchup between the Texans and the Jags. College football last night. You know, I kept wondering, how is 2-8 Pitt favored at home? Once again, what do those guys in Vegas know that I don't know? Are you kidding me? I mean, BC 6-4, Pitt's 2-8. Yeah, Pitt 24, Boston College 16, 2 60-plus yard touchdowns in the second half. Got the job done for the Panthers as they pick up their third win of the year. Harbaugh drops his appeal, so he's going to sit out the final 3 games of the regular season. He is eligible for the Big Ten title game if Michigan gets there. Big Ten closes their investigation. Offensive coordinator Sharon Moore, who was acting interim, whatever you want to call it, head coach against Penn State. He'll do the same thing for Maryland and Ohio State. The Washington State Supreme Court issued a temporary restraining order, just injunction to Washington State and Oregon State as to, hey, hold on a second. You don't control the Pac-12 just yet. Just take it easy. Deep breaths. Okay. You guys on one side, you submit your briefs. Washington State, Oregon State, I know what you want to say. Just put it on paper. You submit your briefs. Both sides get it to me by November 28th, which is what, a week from Tuesday? Something like that. And then I'll reply by December 8th. Okay? Not saying I'm going to change anything. It just, we need to, let's just pump the brakes for 2-3 weeks, some more billable hours, and let's take care of this. All right? Okay, good. Speaking of billable hours, Mark, the Attorney General in Virginia is not accepting this James Madison ineligible for a bowl game. I didn't realize it was that important. But then again, when you're the best college football team in the state, and they are.
And it ain't close.
So they've sent wait for it, a demand letter. Wow. I didn't know you could have one of those.
I demand a cheeseburger. No, I demand a hamburger.
That's pretty much apparently a demand letter.
Spalding is acting as the Attorney General right now? Is that what's going on?
And the NCAA is saying you'll get French fries and you'll like it. A demand letter to the NCAA saying you better lift James Madison's bowl ban. And of course, the NCAA is like, or what? What can you do again? We're event planners, after all. What can you do? Mac Brown, 72. He's one of 5 current head coaches who have won a natty. And he got very emotional after the win Saturday night. And so people were sensing that maybe, Mac's on his way out. And Mac yesterday is like, would you just stop this? Or for goodness sakes, I've already planned recruiting. Please. I'm not going anywhere. What else am I going to do? I've done the TV thing. It's okay. It's not great. So Mac Brown says he'll return to North Carolina next year. Tomorrow night, Mark, in Tallahassee, it's the final home game for Florida State. And, it's 2023. What did they do 10 years ago in 2013?
Well, they won a natty.
And so they are honoring said team. And I believe it lines up with the Saints bye week. And so they're retiring Jameis's number. Oh, the joint will be rocking. Undefeated Florida State, honoring the last championship team. The home crowd thinking maybe we're watching another.
And all of it brought to you by Publix.
Knowles hosting North Alabama. That weekend before rivalry week, some teams make sure they schedule a scrimmage, and and a win. Here's a question. So the head coach of the 2013 team is suddenly available to attend the proceedings. Do you invite him?
Yeah, you invite him and then just tell him not to show.
Well, no. You can't do that. No. If I invite you to the party, I'm inviting you to the party. I'm not inviting you.
I understand that. You invite him, and then you make the phone call and say, but you don't need to show.
No, come on. I mean, what is this? Phil Mickelson at the Champions Dinner at the British Open when they were honoring all the past greats, in which the RNA did invite him. But
you are snarkier than anybody I know because you want Jimbo there. They hate him.
Yeah, I understand, but this is a way to help mend it. They've come back.
They don't want to mend it.
Come on now. If you really think about it, we're honoring the championship team. We're not going to bring back the coach. I mean, he did win him a natty. This is what we said about Gator Nation. Why do you guys have all this angst towards Urban? He won you 2. Are you serious? Get over it. Plus Jameis loves him. Okay, with Jameis there and the mic and that smile, Jameis will hug him. Okay, I'm telling you, this is a way. Bring him back. And honor him. Come on, he brought you back. He won you a natty.
I think you could have a larger discussion on whether or not you should be retiring Jameis Winston's jersey.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't lose a regular season game for 2 years.
Yeah, there's a lot of baggage. There's more to retiring a jersey. There is character involved, particularly at the college level, of which he had very little while he was at Florida State, David.
Mark, you seem to think that matters. This is major college football we're talking about here. It's all about wins and losses and dollars and cents. What's gotten into you this morning? It's like you're a parent of a young child. My goodness. Stop it already. This is a sports radio show. Raising your 9-year-old daughter has nothing to do with it.
What's the number to Pinchers? Can I get crab legs delivered?
You can't fake fresh. Sorry, David. Go ahead.
We are feeling it today. It's the end of a week. We're all a little punchy. College hoops. UCF beat Cal State Fullerton by 28. North Florida lost to Presbyterian. Women's action. Jacksonville beat Georgia Southern. South Florida, who was undefeated, lost Alabama by 29. They're normally a very good program. NBA, 7th straight win for the Heat. Jimmy Buckets is playing well this week. His knee's not bothering him. He scored 36. They beat Brooklyn 122-115. And the Warriors have lost 5 straight. No Steph, no Draymond. OKC beat them by 19 in Golden State, 128-109. Victor Hedman, game-winning goal midway through the third. Lightning snap a 3-game skid. They double up the Blackhawks 4-2. Kings edge the Panthers 2-1. Devils with 3 in the third beat Pittsburgh 5-2. In Sweden, wild game. Ottawa led 4-0 after 1. Wings score 4 unanswered in the second. They end up going to overtime. Ottawa wins it 5-4. In Sweden. And, hey, listen, we have to stop giving the San Jose Sharks scores because now they won their third game now. They're actually above 500 the last 2 weeks. They're 3-13-1 now. They beat St. Louis 5-1. Lately, every team they've beaten damn near fires their coach. Major League Baseball, Ohtani and Acuna, unanimous MVPs. Unanimous. Second MVP in 3 years for Ohtani. Owners unanimously approve Oakland's move to Vegas. And the Braves get the 2025 All-Star game. Remember, they had the 2021 game, and then it was taken away from them because of the Georgia voting rights laws. Yeah, that went over well. So now Atlanta gets the 25 game. Next year's game's in Arlington. 26 is in Philly. That's our 250th anniversary year as a country, so they're going to Philly. It'll be cool, actually. It'll be a few days after we celebrate our birthday. Golf. The women are in Naples. Their tour championship, it's called the CME Group title. 24-year-old Nasa Ataoka and 21-year-old Ronin Yin are tied at 9 under. Man, they tore up Tiburon yesterday. And PJ Tours in St. Simon's Island, Georgia, 3-way tie at 6 under with Eric Cole, Cam Young, and Davis Thompson. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Oh, the Twitch chat room is coming to Mark Miller's side. I agree with you, Mark. Should not be retiring Jameis's jersey.
Listen to you in that mocking voice.
No. It was an authoritative voice. Very different. No. That was
your authoritative voice and your sarcastic voice are eerily close to one another this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. We've talked about that. That's a Miller and Moulton fault. It's the tone. It's the tone.
It's the tone.
It's always been
what you say. It's how you say it.
It goes back to like 2nd and 3rd grade report cards. Apparently, we talk too much and we have to watch our tone. So Johnny, Brett, and Tim all agree with you. Should not be retiring Jameis's jersey. They're doing it tomorrow.
I thought character mattered a little bit, but apparently it doesn't.
Well, that could be another poll question. I mean, we were going to ask about, the penalty on Harbaugh, but since people are tired of that, we could ask about Jameis. Okay, should Florida State be retiring Jameis's jersey? Yay or nay? That's a fair question.
Look at that. 2 poll questions?
Wait, the other one's already up?
No, it's not. I mean, we could put it up. That's all. I mean,
No.
we got 2 poll question before 7 a.m.
No,
this show is moving.
We've been told enough with the Harbaugh story. So we're the Florida Sports Network. Let's go, Jameis.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
You
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
By the way, how about our schedule next week, huh?
It's awesome.
That came together.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you'll love this. We're doing that last segment early in the segment. I get 3 texts from Jeff Cameron. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even gotten to the Jameis story yet. What's he?
He thought it was today?
He texts me. He goes, "Hey, we still on?" All right. And finally he goes, "Oh, I'm a dummy." I just realized that you meant next Friday. I have to admit, he couldn't do a certain time because he was taking his kid to school. And I did think to myself, I go, they're going to school the day after Thanksgiving? Wow. And you know me, I'm all for it. I'm all for kids going to school.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not going to say anything, but okay.
So I'm talking to Jake the other day, and I make a comment. I said, yeah, I go next week. I go, well, fortunately, Nancy gets in town, my mother-in-law. I said, because Maddie's got the whole week off from school. And he's like, what? And then, of course, he has the audacity to give me, I only got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. And I'm like, you know what? F you. I only got Thursday and Friday off. So I don't.
There you go. Here you go, Jacob.
We've been getting softer and softer and softer.
Yep.
Or we just need the school year to last for as long as humanly possible.
Well, the other thing is, think about if we go generation by generation here, also where all 3 were. The North, Michigan, you go to school. Just like me in the Northeast, you go to school. In Jacob's case, he did most of his schooling in North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
So they split the difference.
Right.
Okay. All right. And then, now the youngest one, that's a Floridian. Oh, no. Family's got a lot of travel, a lot going on. No, you need the whole week off. Oh, okay. Canada Relief, we are doing a show. We are doing a show on Friday next week.
Morning, Lee.
Good morning. All right, we're going to go Wednesday, right?
Yes.
All right.
7 a.m.
All right. I'll be in New York City. You'll see out the window. You'll be able to tell where I am.
Well, you'll be disturbing your wife. You're like, honey, still a work day for me.
Yeah.
So
you're actually my second show. I do Columbus, Ohio. They're like, oh, can we just skip ahead to next week in the Michigan-Ohio State game? So
sure.
Yeah. So, so what games you got this weekend?
Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then the Eagles and Chiefs are going to play each other.
Game. Oh, that's a pretty good game. Pretty good game. Pretty good game. What do you think? Do you think the Bengals were hiding at victory?
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And the top of our 7 o'clock hour on a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Means Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports, ParamountSports.com, 800-400-9741. Split his 2 big picks last week. Lee, how are you?
I'm good. Well, actually, not so good last night watching that Bengals game when I had them. As soon as Joe Burrow went out, I just felt like lighting my money on fire there.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt, and the injuries from that game will ripple through the rest of the season with Andrews out now, with Burrow injured. I mean, that lot of cause and effect from that game, Lee.
Yeah. You think they were hiding the injury?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
And how serious is it?
Well, he supposedly said to Patrick Queen walking off the field, I heard something pop.
Ooh.
Okay, so, the head coach gave the generic, we'll do an MRI, we'll see.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Who's not retiring anytime soon? That would be the Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. They haven't lost a regular season game in 3 years. Is tomorrow the day? They go to Rocky Top. It's about all Tennessee has to be able to call this a successful season. They lost to Florida. They lost to Alabama. Not going to a New Year's Six bowl. This is it. Georgia coming to town. Tennessee's getting 10.
I'm looking for that glimmer, and I just don't see it. I mean, they got run over by Missouri last week. 255 rushing yards. Unless they can line up an extra man or two on defense, I think it's going to be very, very tough. And look what Georgia did. 300 rushing yards last week. So the last 3 games have not been close. Last year's game, 13-point margin. But if you watch that game, it could have been 27. They dominated the line of scrimmage. I mean, I know Joe Moulton can throw the ball 80, 85 yards, but the idea is to throw it accurately. And he has not been very accurate. In fact, I think he's only completed 20 or more passes in a game 4 times this year. I just think Carson Beck's really come on. 5 of the last 7 games above 300 passing yards. It looks like he is very comfortable here. I like Georgia here, 37-20.
The numbers, Mark, it's very simple. If Tennessee can't run, they're not even competitive. They ran for 51 yards against Missouri, got blown out. They ran for like 70 against Florida, got whacked. Okay, when Missouri can't run, second half against Alabama, couldn't run, got whacked. I mean, if they can't run, they lose, and they lose big.
And how do you think they're going to be able to run against Georgia? So I love where Lee's at with that one. Missouri and Florida, the number's 11. The Gators are in a spot here. If they're going to make a bowl game, they've got to win one of their last 2 games. They're going to be double-digit dogs in both of them. We think this is their best shot of the 2, even though the rivalry game against Florida State's at home. How do you like the Gators' chances against Missouri?
Everyone keeps saying Missouri, maybe they're not there yet. I think they are. I mean, they probably gave Georgia their best game so far. This Florida defense has allowed 39 or more points 4 straight games. One of those games was against Arkansas. This defense is just not getting the job done here. They move between the 20s a lot. Can't put it in here. I thought this line should have been 13.5, 14. I'm playing Missouri here. I think they win this game here, 45-20.
And for the record, the number that we have is 11. The only thing I'm worried about, Lee, Missouri has had back-to-back very emotional games. The Tennessee game, people didn't realize how big a game that was for Missouri. Tennessee had scored 62 and 66 the last 2 years against Missouri. That game was circled by the Tigers. That was a very important game for Missouri. All right. I see the Canes now as a 1-point favorite against top 10 Louisville. It's in Miami. Miami's done this in the past where, they have a rousing performance even in a loss and they build off it. They've also, like last year, the year before, had a rousing performance and then mail it in. Which Canes team are we going to see for the final 2 games?
If Tyler Van Dyke wasn't quarterbacking, Emory Williams was in, I might go for Miami. I think Louisville's a tad overrated. I mean, number 9, are they the 9th best team in the country? Maybe they're 12th, 15th, 17th. Probably not 9th, but it doesn't matter. They're top 20 in almost every major statistical category, offensively and defensively. They did lose to Pitt. I don't know how that happened, but, coming off a couple games before that, Notre Dame, sometimes, they are a much better team at home, and I think that's one of the reasons why Miami is a favorite here. But Tyler Van Dyke, his decision-making isn't good. I'm going to guess and say he probably had a concussion a few weeks back. He just doesn't look the same as far as processing information and reading defenses here. And it's not like he's, elusive if he needs to get away. He's like he's got two cement blocks in both legs here. I love what Louisville did. I mean, they brought on Jack Plummer, not Jake Plummer, Jack Plummer, who started at Purdue with Brom, then moved to Cal, now has rejoined him here. Looks like a perfect fit. Got a couple good running backs, good receiver. I think Louisville's the right side, 27-20.
To Sunday we go. Jacksonville was just pounded by San Francisco. How do they respond against Tennessee? They have not, I think a lot of people thought they would have sewn the division up by now, but with the way Houston's playing and Houston already beat them, Jacksonville's got to get their act together. After a nice run of wins, they get destroyed by San Francisco. How do they turn it around against Tennessee?
Sometimes when you get destroyed like that, you realize you are not even close to being on the level of the top couple teams. So that might have been a hard, cold lesson served to them last week. Trevor Lawrence has not been the same this year. Another game here. I think it's his third, no touchdowns, and at least 3 or more turnovers. I don't think that they can hold Derrick Henry to 24 yards like he was held to last week here. So I think this line's ballooned a little bit. Hey, I think Jacksonville's a good team. They're just not with the elite yet. One of those interdivision games. I think Jacksonville wins 27-24. I'll take the points in Tennessee.
Tennessee getting 7 against the Jags. Remember, this was the game that turned the Jags season around last year. They were 3-6. They went to Nashville. Titans were about to wrap up the division. Jags beat them, talked some smack walking off the field, and then damn near ran the table. All right. Dolphins, Vegas has won 2 in a row, but Miami, we know what they do to teams that we don't consider to be very good. And Miami's a 13-point home favorite.
They won both at home, Vegas, against 2 really bad teams. And you grade out their defense, except for Crosby and I think one other player. All their players are like the bottom 20%. They play a lot of too high coverage. They try to limit the big play. The problem is there are 9 players, except for Crosby, that are out there. They miss a lot of tackles. And I think Miami's just going to take their time and methodically move down the field here. This is a mismatch here. And O'Connell, this is the game he probably blows up. I think this Miami defense, which came alive in the second half, is starting to get it here. Miami's a dangerous team, even though they haven't beat either of the 3 top teams they face this year. I think they're on the cusp of something big here. Sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. NFL double-digit favorites this year. 9-1 straight up, 7-3 against the spread. I like Miami here, 38-10.
Laying the big number with the Dolphins against the Raiders. Your game of the week is San Francisco at Tampa Bay, another big number, 11.5. How do they get that game, Lee?
Anyone wants to get it for free, be one of the first 5 callers. Call 800-400-9741. Give you that game for free. And we have a one-day all-access pass. Anyone wants to give us a shot? Maybe you're a client and trying one sport, want to try the other 3 sports, football, basketball, hockey, and also our top UFC play. And it's almost a 2-to-1 underdog. 7 selections, $17. Normally $77 to $97. $17 for tonight. That way, give us a shot. And then hopefully you join us, not for November. The rest of, we call it Dovember. One place, ParamountSports.com.
He's Lee Sterling. He's laying the points with the Dogs, with Missouri, and with the Dolphins. He's taken a point with Louisville against the Canes, and he's going to take the 7 with the Titans that the Jags win, but they don't cover that number on the road. 800-400-9741, ParamountSports.com. Lee, safe travels. We will talk to you the day before Thanksgiving. We'll do this Wednesday morning next week, if that's okay.
Sure is. Looking forward to it.
All right. Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Paramount Sports. So there you go.
Big numbers in the NFL. A lot of big numbers in the NFL this week. Looks like a college spread line when you look at the NFL numbers.
2 of Lee's games are 2 of mine.
That's funny because 2 of Lee's games are 2 of mine.
I'm going to shock you for the first time today. Guess the number of picks I have. Yes.
5?
I have 5.
No!
Yep.
There's still plenty of time until we do our segment. I'm not counting out anything yet, David.
Alice goes over. Pigs are flying everywhere.
And don't get me wrong, guys. There are 2 other games that were crossed out. Okay, but I'm going with 5. Apparently, that's how many you're supposed to make in this segment.
We did dub it the Fantastic Five a few years ago.
Yeah, but that was when we had graphics and opens and billboards and what have you. I just forgot the name of the segment.
Easy to do, David. Very easy to do.
So, Miller and Moulton with this alliteration. Fantastic 5, Super 7, Elite 8.
Every once in a while, it's a nifty 9 from David. But today, apparently, it is only 5.
5. Yep. So that's coming up in about 25 minutes time. Pat Kirwan will join us in 45 minutes. We'll go through week 11 in the NFL. Fascinating week, as Mark mentioned. Got about a half a dozen supposed blowouts, and then we got a bunch of division games. So it's a pretty interesting week. And let's face it, it's the NFL. That's why you say supposed blowouts, because, well, seemingly these days, everybody's quarterback's going to get hurt, and teams that you expect to win are not going to. Oh, yeah. Then there's that Chiefs-Eagles game.
Yes, there is. And another one of those quarterbacks hurt last night, in case you're just getting up. Joe Burrow injured his right wrist, his throwing wrist, at the end of the first half. No word on a timetable for his sprained wrist. Miller and Moulton. A Football Friday edition. Thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, Mark, the only NFC gear that I could rock would be James Conner for the Cardinals, because when I was going through chemo, I reached out to him and he actually got right back with me.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
And I bought his Pitt jersey. So to answer your question, I kind of cheated because I bought his college jersey instead of his Cardinals jersey.
There you go.
Yeah. I could rock James Conner. That's about it, though. AFC, I'll wear Dolphins gear. I don't care. Go Fins.
Empire, the NFL definitely investigates if a team hides an injury. They take that very seriously. Always have. Of course, it's not for the gambling. No. No, we're working Black Friday. Ambient. We're doing a show next week. It's a football Friday. We're doing a show. Trent's not. Okay. He's gone.
And breaking news, the tickets are up for sale.
Attaboy.
Just
there you go.
Seemed like too many factors pushing that way. So
too short of a trip to squeeze. I mean, for as little time as you're going, you're making the right move. You'll make your mom happy.
It's not like I'm from Detroit either. I'm from 2.5 hours.
That's what I mean. If you were
Detroit.
even if you were Saginaw, it'd be an easier trip.
Yeah. But it's a whole day thing. I mean, it's all the way down in the morning, all the way back. You don't get home till 7 p.m.
I think you made the right move. You'll make your mother happy.
That's priority number one.
It for just about your whole life.
Even when
here's the key.
Workers.
Here's the key, by the way. So you're going to meet someone, you're going to fall in love, and you're going to get married. Okay. And they then want to outrank your mother. And you have to walk that fine line between your lip service says, no, absolutely, honey. You're number one. Okay. It's and deep down in the back of your mind, mom's always number one.
Yep.
Okay. So that'll be a fine line. You'll have to walk someday, She'll want to, climb into the top spot, and you'll have to occasionally tell her she's gotten there. She hasn't gotten there, but that's okay.
Life advice.
Then you have a daughter, and she outranks both of them.
Now then, vaults to the very top. Also, because what mother now does is drops you. Okay, you drop also.
Oh yeah,
because grandchild. Right. So it's dueling escalators, going up, going down. I mean, it's at the same time.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
It's so funny. So my kid he had kind of a college girlfriend, kind of, she lives in St. Pete. So 2 weekends ago, he flew down to see her.
Okay.
And I'm like, good for you.
Huh.
And he's got to go through Raleigh to fly. I go, so you can stop and see your mom? Did you tell your? It's like, no, I didn't tell her I'm going down there. Then I got to answer questions. It's like, are you nuts? He goes, you don't care. I'm like, exactly right. Let me know when you propose. Until then, I really don't care about your dating life.
Yeah, really. So you have a buddy. Okay.
Right. Good for you.
Good for you.
It's funny though. When he said he was going to St. Pete, the only thing he told her is like, need to watch the Dogs game. It was the Georgia-Missouri game. I said, you'll be at Ferg's. Text me. He goes, at Ferg's.
That's
so if you're in St. Pete, it's the only place to go to watch a game.
I'll tell you, it's
the only thing I asked him. I said, so you moving in with her? You quitting your job, moving to St. Pete? He goes, thought about it. I said, I figured you probably would. He's already in a career. And
right.
There's part of him at 25, 24 that's going, do I really want to sell nuts and bolts the rest of my life in Greenville, North Carolina?
Well, I know. I mean, you're right. He's locked into this. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me there's more to life than selling nuts and bolts in Greenville, North Carolina?
Right.
Well, listen, going to St. Pete Beach and Madeira Beach and Clearwater Beach with an attractive, scantily clad woman, that's not going to help the selling nuts and bolts in Greenville, North Carolina.
No. And of course he goes, there's a lot of good looking women down there. I said, yeah, but Jacob, if you move to St. Pete, you're moving in with one of them. So the
others are.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Trent in the play of the day coming up in roughly a half a dozen minutes. Miller and Moulton will make their picks against the number in a little more than 15 minutes time. Pat Kirwan at the top of the hour to go through week 11 in the NFL.
just picked up on something there. And I hopefully I get the name right. But when you just did the Trent with the play of the day, were you channeling your Van Earl Wright voice for the play of the day there?
Totally. I was going back to the 90s and the 2000s. CNN with the play of the day.
Hey, got to be old enough to remember that, but that wasn't the first two. That wasn't.
And then he would also voice the sports on Headline Sports. And he would end it, or he would begin by going, "This is CNN Headlines Sports." Yep.
Lived for that. It was like 19 after the hour, or whatever they ran the sports.
Something like that. And it was all, 2.5 minutes. Yep. I would compare their sportscast to our sportscast, be like, let's see, did I get everything in? Did I miss anything?
And I haven't turned headline news on in easily 15, 18 years.
Well, there's no longer headline news.
Right.
So it's now it's nothing but like crime shows. They're very predictable. You're not going to believe this at the very beginning. Somebody's killed. Okay. And then 30 minutes later, with the use of technology, science, all right, the murder mystery solved. Huh. Wow. How
All
about
wrapped
that?
up in a tight little bow.
Yep,
with
no doubt
commercials
about
in
it.
30 minutes.
Fit in about 3 commercial breaks, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, work in some key music. You have to have music that draws you in, that you're playing underneath half the time. Also, that I think is the key.
You have a huge Monday night game, obviously, and we'll get into that on Monday. But is there a game this weekend that you're really fired up for, including the one you're working on Saturday?
Georgia, Tennessee, by the way, the game that I'm lucky enough to be at on Saturday. Believe it or not, in a very, very, because I like fights in a phone booth. Not every week, but I do enjoy the occasional rock fight. There is a part of me that would love to take in the Steelers-Browns game as part of a drinking game. Okay, because there's not going to be a lot of first downs. There's not going to be a lot of points. So how are we trying to do this game? Do we only drink when there's a touchdown? At which point you probably drink no more than 3 times. All right. Are we drinking? How about this? We celebrate punts. We drink for every punt. Because I think, Mark, there's a chance you drink 15 times.
What about every passing first down?
You wouldn't get many drinks.
Okay, every rushing first down. If you want,
You wouldn't get many drinks.
No,
you don't think there's going to be. You don't think anyone's moving the ball?
I'd put it this way. I think there will be as many 3 and outs as there will be first downs in this game.
That's okay. It's going to be ugly. You guys are spot on. I'm just being devil's advocate.
It's going to be so ugly that I need to come up with a drinking game to enjoy this game. So, that's interesting. We could break it down to we drink for the passing first down would be the drinking game to go. Okay. But I'm going to celebrate punts. Are they punting? Another round.
More punts in the Pittsburgh-Cleveland game or the Iowa-Illinois game?
Oh. Wow. Wow. Iowa, Illinois.
I think so. Almost put that on my sheet as an under. I almost just said, you know what? I'm going there with my picks this week. I'm taking an Iowa under.
And believe it or not, I don't necessarily want to watch it, but I am very curious as to the result. The Sunday night game. So does this whole Joshua Dobbs thing continue? Is he going to make this 3 in a row, or do the Denver Broncos get back to 500? Does Denver beat Minnesota at home to get to 5-5? And then just stand there and look around and go, hey, we got the same record as the Bills and the Bengals. Don't tell us we're not decent. Don't tell us we don't have a chance. If Miami beats the Raiders, they'll be 5-6. Who are the Colts playing? Okay, are the Colts playing this week or they have their bye? Yeah, okay. So they'll be 5-5. I mean, think about it. If Denver can win,
and they are favored to do so slightly.
I mean, think about where 5-5 is going to be in the conference. Now the Texans should win. They're hosting Arizona. They should get to 6-4. They should. But now it is Arizona with Kyler Murray now, so they're a little bit better, although he replaced the legendary Joshua Dobbs.
You also got to look at this, though, David. The Broncos, they play the Chargers twice. They play the Browns, who might be in the mix for something that the Broncos could potentially do. They play the Patriots, which should be a gimme in Denver. It's there.
It is. Listen, they just forced 9 turnovers in 2 games against the Bills and the Chiefs. I mean, Detroit was 1-6 last year, finished 9-8. Eagles were 2-5 2 years ago, finished 9-8. Maybe Denver at 1-5 is this year's team to do something like that. I mean, Russell Wilson, Sean Payton, there is some pedigree there. We've been saying for a couple years there's actually some good players on this team. They just, for whatever reason, can't win.
We were stunned earlier in the year when their defense was, giving up the 70 because we thought that was the high point of their team. And since that game, they've woken up.
But the college game that I'm actually most interested in is Florida, Missouri. Because I think Napier, there's not a Gator person I know that likes him as coach. Not one. They're tolerating this, but they don't like it. 3 losses in a row, 5-5. I'm just telling you. If he loses to Missouri, he has to lose to Missouri the way Missouri lost to Georgia. It's got to be very competitive. You cover, if you know what I mean. I mean, I'm telling you, that situation could be blown up in 10 days. It could.
And for on the field, Washington and Oregon State is a really good game.
Yeah, that's true.
That one to me is the most interesting because I think Oregon State can beat them. And then that throws, what does that do to the Pac-12? Because they'll look for a way to keep them out. Trust me.
Oregon State's a favorite in that game.
I know. It's only a point, but they are a favorite.
All right.
Time now for our play of the day. Trent Bally has it for us. What do you have for us today, Trent?
5,000 miles across the pond. We go to Stockholm, Sweden, where the Senators and Red Wings are playing in the NHL Global Series game, the first one. Senators jump out to a 4-0 lead, but a 4-goal third period, second period, I'm all over the place, from the Wings makes it 4-4, going to overtime. Looked like we'd get a shootout, but with 2 seconds to play.
Here is Batherson. Up after Stutzla. 1-on-1 with Gostisbehere. Stutzla in, shoots hard wide. Up the end towards it goes Sanderson, drops it back. In comes Batherson, a pass across. Oh, he scores! He bats it in! Tim Stutzla with an incredible hand play. Breaks it for Ottawa.
Tim Stutzel with the walk-off. You have to go see it, too. I know this is radio, but, he hit a home run out of thin air. It was crazy. Wings are now third in the Atlantic behind only Boston and the Florida Panthers. Senators are in last, but 7-7. It's a good division. And
did he just go Stutzel?
Is that his name?
I don't know, but that's how you pronounced it. So
yeah, I think so. It was
a hell of a goal. It really was. Batted out of midair with 2 seconds left in OT for the winner.
I thought you go to a bakery and order a Stutzel. Can I get a dozen Stutzels?
The dots above the U. The Motley Crue dots, as I call them.
Yep. That's definitely how they...
Don't worry. That reference works with our audience.
Yes, it does.
Miller and Moulton. We'll make our picks on the other side. David only has 5?
It might be 6.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're gonna have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Adam, you might be onto something there. If they flip that quarterback, that would be humongous. Hugely bad for the Gators. I agree with that, Adam.
Mark, what do you think about Lions -8?
I don't like it.
You don't like
a lot
it.
of points for a division game.
It is, but it's Justin Fields. I'm licking my chops. I can't wait for this game. But yeah, someone mentioned it in the Twitch chat room. I forget who, but
yeah, KW, he's a big Bears fan.
KW, yeah, he's saying that the Chicago media seems to think that. I mean, the same old Lions. It's a letdown spot after a big, exciting win. You come back home and,
the Bears game is not a letdown spot. A division
No.
game is not a letdown spot.
Not for this team. I'm saying in years past, this is a game the Lions lose. But
Yep.
I think they're going to win this one, though.
Do you follow Steve Politi on Twitter?
I don't know if I follow him, but he's a snarky Jersey writer.
Here's his tweet from 6 minutes ago. If you grew up in certain New Jersey towns or North Jersey towns, you know someone just like Tommy DeVito. He might not lead the Giants to the promised land, but in so many ways, he is New Jersey's starting quarterback. In his column, he goes, this is a conversation I envision happening all over suburban Essex County the past couple of weeks since DeVito came out of nowhere to be QB1 in East Rutherford. Friend 1. Didn't we go to school with Tommy DeVito? Friend 2. No. That was Vito to Tommy. Friend 1. Oh, yeah, right. Pass the gabagool. I saw that just as we went to break, and I've been giggling for 30 seconds. I just Vito to Tommy, Tommy to Vito.
Hey, Pachicalupa. Yep.
We going to your mom's for gravy?
You guys like the mob movies?
Love them.
Okay.
Love them. I watched an hour of Goodfellas yesterday. Cassio called me. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm watching Goodfellas. He just starts laughing. And then he goes, where's the movie at? I go, they just stuffed the postal worker in the oven.
And the first half of that movie is so great.
Ah, yes. Yes.
Is that your favorite one, David?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it's tough to put anything above the two Godfathers, but Goodfellas was outstanding.
I love Scarface. I don't know if that counts.
No.
That's awful. It's
awful.
horrendous.
You don't like
First off,
Scarface?
awful.
Oh,
No,
I love
Okay,
Scarface.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Just like we want to have a drinking game with the Browns and Steelers. Here's the deal.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Drinking game for every time Pacino's accent changes. No, seriously. Next time you watch it,
It's great, but it's awful.
I'm aware. I get what you're saying. It's like it's the Motley Crue of 80s movies. How's that?
I will say the Motley Crue movie's pretty good.
Love that.
Dirt was pretty good.
That's what
Did
got
you watch
me into
that on
the band.
Netflix,
I
David?
don't think so.
It's
No.
a good biopic.
Okay.
It is.
It's unhinged.
The only thing that came out of Scarface was say hello to my little friend.
It's just so over the top. That's why I like it. But I agree. It's not a very good acting job. It's just very intense.
I'm telling you. Over under accent changes 3.5.
Ooh. Andrew Brandt did a deep dive on the Michigan thing in his podcast already.
No, we can't talk about that anymore.
His tweet, Harbaugh and Michigan hearing advice from their lawyers, fold their tent and accept Big Ten suspension.
Mark,
I should do
we
this
can't
whole
talk
last
about
segment
that
tonight.
anymore.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
People are tired of it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes until the top of the hour, and that's when Pat Kirwan joins us. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Pat will join us courtesy of Pinchers, but now it's time for Miller and Moulton to put their very flimsy reputations on the line. I have a
Time to do the
theme, Mark.
picks. You have a theme?
Mark, you know me and themes, trends and themes. I have a theme. I only picked college games where the spread is a point.
I have 4 double-digit games on my list this week.
So, okay. And for the record, I'm only picking 5. I had a winning week last week. In fact, I've had 2 winning weeks in a row. Nothing crazy, though. Just like a game above 500 each week. So I think I'm 2 below 500, right?
35-37 on the year, David, after your 4-3 week last week. I am 30-26 after my 2-3 week a week ago.
Okay. So once again, quick math. I've made 72 picks and Mark has made 56. Right. That's how this segment normally rolls here on Miller and Moulton. Mm-hmm.
You had the winning record, so that means you can lead us off this week, David.
Okay. I am betting against Miami because of recent trends. You could easily say, the Canes with a good effort last week. Very impressive at the line of scrimmage against a legitimate top team in Florida State. And we don't know if Louisville is a legitimate top team, at least as good as their ranking. First off, Braum is so much better of a game coach than Cristobal. Let's get that straight. Secondly, Miami's quarterback is banged up. I mean, they're playing him because they really don't have anybody else to play. I don't know. I know they said he's healthy to play this week. It was kind of like when the Giants threw Daniel Jones out there. Okay, because they're like, well, all we have is Tommy DeVito. Danny, you got to play. Excuse me. Listen, we've been on Louisville since Mark Packer tipped us off that, first off, we both love Jeff Braum and the job he did at Purdue. And we thought that he would make Louisville a 7 or so win team. And then Mark Packer said, guys, they don't play Florida State, Clemson, or North Carolina this year. Watch out for Louisville. Louisville has to keep winning to make the ACC title game. I like Louisville getting a point.
And Louisville, that line has fluctuated between a point. Louisville was a 1.5 favorite. Now they're getting a point. So that line's been all over the place this week. Not really, big numbers one way or another, but it's just moved. It's consistently moved every day, David.
I have been on Arizona since before the season started. I love their coach. I said they'd be the surprise team in the Pac-12. And what I meant by that is they're being picked 8th and 9th. And that I said they're going to be a good team. Sure enough, they're a good team. What are they, tied for 3rd in the Pac-12? Excuse me. It's always nice when my cough comes back when we're back on the air. It's a virtual pick'em. And I have talked up their coach and their team every week this year. How many times have I bet them? Twice. They are 8-2 against the number. Arizona. They're like one of the, if not the best team in the country. It's a virtual pick'em. They're hosting Utah. I'm taking Arizona. Simple as that. I think Utah, by the way, laid it all on the line against Washington. I don't know how much they have left. Mark, you called the game. I picked the Beavers to win the Pac-12 at the beginning of the year. Now, it's probably not going to happen because they'd have to beat Washington, Oregon, and then one of those two again. All in a row. That's a gauntlet. I don't think they'll do it. They're ranked 11th in the country. I do think they're legitimately a top 12 team in the country. They're at home. And Mark, what haven't we had a lot of so far in November in college football?
Upsets, David.
Right? I mean, normally this is when the unbeatens go down. And it really hasn't happened yet. And unbeaten's going down Saturday. Oregon State's taking down the Huskies. They're at home. They're laying a point to Sunday. Mark, I'm from Jersey. Tommy DeVito's from Jersey. He's quarterbacking the New Jersey Giants. I know they put the whole NY thing. They've been in New Jersey since the mid-70s, okay? They're the Jersey Giants, all right? I mean, Tommy DeVito. Yeah, what the hell is Tommy DeVito doing quarterbacking in the NFL? Tommy DeVito? I mean, Tommy DeVito should be like in Goodfellas. Well, what? Also, Washington is very unhappy with themselves about how they played the Giants the last 2 years. They're 0-2-1 against the Giants. The Giants kept them out of the playoffs last year. The Giant game was the game that the team meeting and the tantrums and what have you after they lost in Jersey, and the Giants haven't won since that game. Washington's going to whack the Giants Sunday. I'm taking the Commanders, and I'm laying 9. Sam Howell, by the way, is the most passing yards in the NFL. Just throwing that out there. And the Dolphins are going to whack the Raiders. And I'm glad it's under 14 because they're definitely going to win by 14, if not 17, if not 20 or more. They're going to whack the Raiders. The defense has held 2 consecutive opponents to under 300 total yards. The defense is coming together. Everybody's overlooking that. They're going to have to triple team Max Crosby. In fact, they may have to kidnap him. But if they successfully kidnap him, they'll cover this one easily. I like the Dolphins. I'm laying 13 at home against the Raiders.
I never start with Sunday, but because we all have the game, I will. I am with David on the Miami Dolphins. That means that Lee, Miller, and Moulton are all taking the Dolphins and laying the 13 points. All the reasons David said, on top of the fact that what does Miami do against average to bad teams? They beat them, and they beat them badly. And I think Miami will do the same coming off the bye. I love the Dolphins. Loved them a lot more when it was 11 earlier in the week because this line opened at 11. It's been bet to 13. Who do I love? Who's my team on Sunday?
The Chargers.
You're damn right they are.
Are you serious? You're going back to that well?
David, they're going to rebound after the tough loss against the Lions on Sunday, in which the offense was terrific again. It will be terrific, and they're playing the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to lay the 3 points with the LA Chargers at Lambeau against the Packers. The Packers are a hot mess.
How much of this is stubborn pride? I mean, come on, just us here. How much of this is you're just not going to admit that you're wrong on the Chargers?
I'll never admit that I'm wrong on the Chargers.
Okay.
They're going to make the playoffs this year.
Okay. All right.
Michigan accepted their punishment. I know I'm not allowed to talk about that.
No, some people are very upset with
I'm
us.
probably not allowed to bet this game, but here's the deal. Penn State whooped up on Maryland and didn't allow them to score. Michigan's defense is every bit as good as Penn State's, if not better. This Michigan against everybody thing will continue for one more week. I don't know what happens next week with no Harbaugh. I'm not worried about it this week against Maryland. 19's the number. Michigan can easily cover this game. They'll win by at least 3 scores, if not 4. Give me Michigan versus everybody this week. That everybody is Maryland. I love the dogs against Tennessee. Tennessee can't stop the run. Georgia will want to run. With Bowers out, they got better. They got confidence in more receivers. They got the ability to run their offense through more players. And Carson Beck's playing as well as anybody. I'm not saying he's the Heisman winner. Don't mistake that. But Carson Beck's playing as well as anybody in the country right now. The kid's found his stride. He's really good.
He's the second best quarterback in the conference. I mean, the kid at LSU is
pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
And this one, David, I hate this pick, but I'm going to do it anyhow because Alex Golesh blew us off this week, and he's been really good to us.
Now, the reason is they're playing tonight.
I know.
And they realized, oh, wait, now that we're playing on Friday, I don't know if we can do the Thursday interviews. We're traveling. So
I got you.
They were nice about it. They reached out. They said, hey, we screwed up.
Here's the problem. When they've played good teams, outside of Alabama, when they've played good teams, they've gotten whooped. Their defense is not very good. UTSA can score. They're laying a big number, but they're at home. Give me UTSA minus the 16 against USF on Friday night.
That's tonight, baby. And you're sticking to 5.
Of course.
All right.
The only bad week I've had all year was when I went above the 5 bet line.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. 4 double-digit spreads there and 5 favorites. So, well, you're consistent.
Records over 500, David, no matter how you slice it.
Better than me. You got that right. And I don't know if I'm going to go 1-4 or 4-1 because I stuck to 5. I mean, I figure it's not going to be in the middle. I'm either going to crash and burn or I'm going to be, rocky at the top of the steps.
I want both out of you. I want you to have a 4-1 week because I like it when we give the listeners winners. But there's part of me that knows if you go 1-4 this week, that there'll be 11 picks next week.
At least I'll bet every damn rivalry game, every game that's got a trophy, a mascot. Oh, yes.
You love next week.
Absolutely. I wish I didn't have to work.
I was going to say, it's probably the one Saturday in which you'd rather not work, and it's the Iron Bowl for crying out loud.
Right. And it's at Auburn, too, where the really crazy stuff happens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Last one, too. I will say, all year, everybody was being sentimental. I wasn't being sentimental about, our last rodeo in the SEC. Was it not last week, the week before? We were in Tuscaloosa, and it was primetime LSU, Alabama. And I realized, this is going to be my last time at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Well, and you did every one of the LSU, Alabama games in this whole run, right?
16 out of 18.
16 out of 18. So, yeah, I can see where that one, because even though you're going to Athens this week, this Georgia run's pretty late. You didn't spend very many weekends in Athens out of this long run because you always did the cocktail party in Jacksonville. So you've been in Athens, a handful of times compared to some of the other SEC venues.
Well, and we went there twice this year. I mean, this week it is Knoxville. The game is at Tennessee, but yes. And also, this is, for me, the very first game that Gary Danielson did as part of the SEC on CBS package was 2006, Florida at Tennessee in prime time. That was the first time that the nation saw Tim Tebow. And he was instrumental in that game. The 3 4th down conversions, short yardage guy. It was a good game. Tennessee was still Tennessee then. Florida won 21-20 on their way to winning the national title. So, coming full circle, sitting around, contemplating some things, realizing, wow, I've been lucky.
I hate to say it, David, but when you're going to really miss it? when you've got Wisconsin at Michigan State at 3:30 next year in November, and it's going to be like, 38 and raining. Iowa's taking on Penn State.
We have a running joke. Do we need to rent a condo on the West Coast somewhere? Because we are going to get so many USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington games. Think about it. They can't air at noon. That's 9 a.m. local time. I mean, they'll probably air one game at noon. It'll be too good, and Fox is like, I'm sorry, I can't not air this game. But we think we're going to get a lot of West Coast trips, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific.
Could really benefit Oregon.
I have to admit, never seen a game at Outson. Never seen a game at Husky Stadium.
That's one.
Yep.
I mean, my sentimentality towards you leaving the SEC is that I could have probably latched on a few more times to your coattails and gone to a few games that I'm now looking back on. I never followed him to Tallahassee or to Tuscaloosa rather. But man, that Husky Stadium, of all the places to see a game, that looks incredible.
Next year, Washington at Oregon. I have to admit, I mean, there are games that we're looking at going, man, I kind of hope we get those. So, but yep, the CBS run, it started in 1996. I think the first game of CBS, hey, we're going to take the SEC and go national, was Florida at Tennessee. We're full against Peyton. Florida jumped out to the big lead. Tennessee with the wild comeback came up 6 points short. I think that was the first game when CBS had said, okay, we're going to do this nationally. And people laughed at them in the industry. You're going to show the SEC nationally? Nobody gives a damn about SEC football, and they never will.
And what did ESPN just spend to get that conference?
Oh, over $300 million a year. That's after they got into bed with them and formed the SEC network.
And paid off the Big 12 to get Oklahoma and Texas to come to the conference.
Right. Of course, they won't admit that. No one will. But, I mean, why would you do a media deal 4 years early? I mean, doesn't everybody? Think about it. Pat Kirwan's next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd roll out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Morning, Mark. Marky.
Good morning, Pat.
Hey, I don't know if this matters, but I'm sitting here watching you guys. When they show you on the screen, I can see the ESPN banner behind you.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's just a rental studio. What are you going to do? I could cover it up, but then that would mean I care that much, Pat.
You know, I'm sorry for consuming you cared.
You know, if we were doing this if this was actually the television thing was the real part of it, this is more so David and I can see each other than anything else.
Well, there you go. That was fun listening to you go down memory lane about the end of the Southeast Conference and not going on enough trips yourself. Tagging along.
I did it. I only did it really a couple times to Florida and then the one time to LSU, Alabama. But I do want to go to a game in Tuscaloosa. I really do.
Well, come on, David, help him out here.
I'm sure I can get it. If I need to get a ticket, I'll get a ticket.
Well, we'll be able to, remember, the good thing is they're going to bed with ESPN. Technically, I can call in some chips with them. Plus, the producer and director of Monday Night Football came from doing Herb Street and Fowler in college football. So,
hey, you know what's a pain in the ass? What I just found out yesterday, living down by Naples and then having to go to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
You got to fly to fucking Charlotte or Atlanta and then fly back.
Yeah.
Yeah, or drive 9 hours.
Yeah, my granddaughter's got a big event there, and my wife wants to go to it. And I said, you can't drive, Jan. You're going to drive up. It's like 500 miles up and then 490 miles back or something. I said, it's 1,000 miles in 2 days. You can't do it, not by yourself. So getting her on a plane has been like, she goes, aren't there any nonstops? No, there are none.
No.
It's
Tallahassee's a really small town.
Yeah.
So just got to go up to December 2nd. And I said, and more than half the hotels were totally sold out. And Florida State's not home.
They are tomorrow. They are.
Yeah, December 2nd is the date.
Oh yeah,
they're done.
I have a question. We still post our picks, right? FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Yes. Yeah. So bang, bang, you're dead. We post our picks at FloridaSportsNetwork.com.
They'll be up probably by the latest by noon today.
Yeah. So just wanted to answer that.
Mark, if you send those to me, I can post them like now.
Okay,
you guys are
I'll give them
talking.
to you.
Yeah, when we do our picks, they just keep posting them as we do them.
I'll send you the picks too, Trent.
Thank you very much.
We only need to send them once.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were sending them yours. So, okay.
I send them everybody's with the record, so he knows
Mark,
what to put on.
Mark gives me a very nice rundown of everyone's record. It's fun to look at.
Oh, yes, David. I got a busy day today. Wow. After this, I have a meeting with CBS, and we're going to do something with Cam and TJ Watt for Thanksgiving. So we got to shoot that. I think today we're going to go, but we got a meeting at that. And then I have Gibbs. He's coming on with me at 1:45.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton, at least along the network. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits in Southwest Florida. If you're with us next hour, we're scheduled to have Wisconsin men's basketball coach Greg Gard. But right now, it's Pat Kirwan time on a Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Pat Kirwan, you know, NFL Radio's moving the chains, 3 to 7 weekdays, 2 to 5 on Saturdays, Sundays. He, freelances, moonlights, whatever. NFL Today show on CBS. Pat joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between pitchers because you can't fake fresh. So, hey, Pat, another game and another quarterback getting hurt.
There it is, the NFL. And I hear all the things they should be doing. Paul Alexander was on yesterday, the line coach, talking about we don't use enough fullbacks. We don't get under center enough. We don't really practice with the linemen. And he's been around to a lot of colleges since he got back from Germany, where he was coaching all summer. And he said he just amazed at how little real coaching goes on anymore for the players. And he goes, the linemen, it's deteriorating skills. And I said, well, they should all have their own private coach. And he goes, most of the big timers do, and they got them in high school. So he's worried about the quarterbacks because he doesn't think there's any sign of improvement in protection. Probably true.
That doesn't sound like anything. I mean, there are things that can be done, but Pat, we have less players playing football. We have less practice time at all levels than we've had before. So this doesn't sound like something that's going to get better.
No, I don't see the light in the tunnel myself about how things are going to get better. It's kind of unfortunate, and there are less kids playing football. There's still 1 million high school players. It's not like we've drained the pool here, but it's probably why guys like Paul are over in Germany, and he is witnessing very athletic, young, talented guys that could play pro football if given the opportunity to be developed. So I think you're going to see us reaching out across the globe a lot more in the NFL to acquire talent.
Pat, do you think the league cares? Okay, because there's two issues here. One is offensive line play. We need to somehow get them better. But also, and because of it, more quarterbacks are seemingly getting hurt. So now we have to develop more quarterbacks. You would think the league would be interested in at least one of those two because they're really joined at the hip. But deep down, do you think Park Avenue cares?
They do care because the owners care about how much money they're spending on the quarterbacks. Here's an example. Paul is working with a lot of the high-end linemen, and his group of linemen, he's got a lot of them, but the group that's going into their second contract, the big fat contract, he said the group he has is going to make $1 billion in contracts next year. $1 billion. So the money we're spending on the linemen and even more on the quarterbacks, and now the injuries to the quarterbacks, that's what'll drive them to do so. They don't have to own a league to go take the best kids out of these minor leagues. But I think we're 100 years away from expanding the number of teams that play pro football. We just don't have that kind of talent.
Pat, everybody's going to be talking about Joe Burrow's injury in the game last night, and rightly so, because it may end up taking the Bengals right out of the playoffs if he misses any significant time. But how about the Andrews injury? How is that going to affect Baltimore?
Oh, well, it's funny. I was talking to Jason McCourty last night before he did the game for Sirius, Westwood One. And we talked about how difficult it is to handle that guy in the red zone. We just really focused on the red zone. And that they said, we've tried everything against the guy. Bracket the guy, you play lurk, have the opposite safety come in as he crosses the field. He goes, but he said it's just a lot like Kelsey and Mahomes. They know where each other is, and he's a big target who can really catch. So it's going to affect them a lot. But I think Cincinnati is completely going to be shot here. They're 1-5 in the conference. They've been swept by Baltimore. I don't see them making it now. And you know what? The door wide open again for Buffalo, in my opinion, as long as their quarterback stays healthy, and the Colts.
Well, Pat, we've been doing the math also. We thought that if Cincinnati lost last night, which obviously they did, we now think the 7 seed's going to go to a 9-8 team. Okay, when the year started, we thought there were so many good teams in the AFC that it would take 10 wins to make the playoffs. But now when you look at it, Cincy, Buffalo, both 5-5, the Chargers 4-5. I mean, Pat, it's just do the math. It's tough to get to 10 from where Houston, Indianapolis, the teams we just mentioned, Denver, where they are now. It looks as if for the third year in a row, after going to 17 games, it looks as if the 7 seed is going to go to a team with 9 wins.
Yeah, I know. And it probably cosmetically doesn't look good, and everyone wants to see 10, and I get it, but it's a pretty competitive league. And
oh, yeah.
And so I could look at it from a positive sense. It's hard to win 10 games and be the 7 seed. So I'm fine with it. The story will be told if and when a 7 seed wins it all. And comes roaring back from a 9-8 record to at least get to the championship game. So I'm okay with 9-8, and I'm with you, but I should have looked at it differently because of the amount of quality teams that can all beat each other. If we really thought about it back then, the depth of the AFC really could arrive at the conclusion, you know what? They're so good. The AFC North alone can handle a lot of teams. So it doesn't surprise me as we look at it now and how it's evolving. But did we really think Buffalo was going to be this messed up?
No.
No, we did not. We didn't think Cincinnati was going to be this messed up. But we certainly at the same time didn't expect Houston to be this good.
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. So, Pat, as you look at, obviously Monday night's the big game. But taking that out of the equation, what game are you most excited to watch Sunday?
Just running down the list of games that I've starred besides that one, I do like the Minnesota-Denver game. And people don't like games like that, but I do. Denver's starting to really come along. I think they're the spoiler of the league right now from here to the finish line. They won't make it, but they're going to make life ugly. And I think that Minnesota is red hot, and we don't even acknowledge them as red hot, but they're the only team with 5 straight wins. And they've won every game since Jefferson left with the injury. Did we think they could go 5-0 without Justin Jefferson?
No.
No way. And they did. So they're riding around here. I always worry about Seattle when they play the Rams. That's always been a tough mess for them. And they're sitting here trying to become the division champ. Now, none of us think they're going to do it. We've all penciled in San Francisco and Seattle wild card. But the Rams seem to have something to say about those guys. Above and beyond that jump out at me, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And Cleveland now trying to do this without their quarterback. But remember, Pittsburgh doesn't play very good offense. So this thing could tie this whole division up in knots. If Pittsburgh wins this, and I think they will, I'll be picking them anyway. I then think that now they got their eyes set on Baltimore. And none of us think they'll get there because of their offense. But they don't think that at all. That game's on my mind. And do I have another one that I love? I think it's one of the easiest week to pick games. I think there's so many obvious winners. And when it gets right down to it, I can see maybe 2 or 3 games are going to be hard to pick. I'm picking Dallas. I'm picking Pittsburgh. I'm picking Detroit. Those aren't hard. Okay, Chargers, Green Bay. I'm taking the Chargers. I hate picking the Chargers, but I am picking the Chargers. Houston. Now, I did talk to the tight end McBride yesterday from Arizona. And it was clear. I could have predicted what he was going to say. The team's totally energized by the return of Kyler and James Conner. And I don't think they can win traditionally, but that quarterback can run around late in games and make a play, but I don't like him. Jim Miller says Tennessee, Jacksonville's a trap game. I don't see that. Tennessee hasn't won on the road in I don't know how long.
Well, I will say they don't like each other because when Jacksonville began their run last year in Nashville, beat the Titans and trash talked their way off the field. Okay. And so I don't know if this was, and you got to go back. These teams have history going back to the late 90s and, the championship game and the whole deal. So for what it's worth, they don't like each other. But you said just matter of factly, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, I'm taking Pittsburgh. Okay. Cleveland
10-7, by the way.
Okay, well, this could be Iowa, Illinois. There's no doubt. Over under could be 17.5. There's no question.
Mark's our expert. 37.5, Mark. I'm taking the under in that game.
Oh, I'll take the under. Pat, here's a better question. Will there be a touchdown? I mean, 10-7 implies that a team will get to the end zone, and I don't know if they can do that. I could see
interception
12-9
return for a touchdown. I got it. I see the interception return for a touchdown.
Well, didn't we have the first go around? Didn't both teams' defenses score in that game? That's why it got somewhat high scoring. But seriously, I mean, Pat, the Steelers are getting it done, but they're getting it done in the most ugly way possible. Are we sure this is just Pittsburgh, Cleveland? Oh, Pittsburgh. I mean, are we sure?
No, they're not. But now you're the historian. Mark and I love when you quote 20 years of history. What's the Steelers' record against the Browns?
I know. No, they own the Browns. They absolutely, positively own the Browns.
I was talking to Keanu Benton yesterday, and he said, as a young guy, I didn't understand really what it meant, the Cleveland-Pittsburgh game. He goes, as a kid, I thought it was always Pittsburgh and Baltimore, which it is. But he said in Cleveland, Ogunjobi was in Cleveland. And Ogunjobi is obviously with Pittsburgh now. And he says he came in and explained to our team how much they hate us. And he goes, we have got to wake up that we are their rival. Even though we think Baltimore's our rival, Cleveland's world is surrounded by the love of and hate of Pittsburgh.
It is amazing how there are just a few teams in this league that have that collegiate feel to them. And Pittsburgh's one of them. They have multiple rivals. They have everybody, I mean, you don't typically have that for teams on Sundays where they have multiple rivals, but the Steelers certainly do. And they take on Cleveland in what should be a solid game on Sunday. Although all of us think there'll be no points scored in the game. 32.5 is the over under.
It came down 5 points from opening. The opening line was 37.5. What were they thinking on Monday?
We will quickly go through the games with Pat Kirwan in our second segment. He of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today Show, joining us once again, courtesy of Pinchers. Pinchers from Tampa to Key West and over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. We're at week 11 in the NFL. We'll also get Pat's thoughts on the Chiefs and the Eagles, the Monday Nighter, coming up next. Pat Kirwan with Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
What's your upset this week, Pat?
Upset game of the week. As I said, they're easy picks, I think, this week. If I had to pick one as an upset, I'm just going through this group. I don't want to say the Jets, although the Jets, Josh is 6-4 against the Jets, so the Jets might be on me. Denver, they're favored. So Minnesota, that game I'll take the underdog in that one. I'm not taking Philly, and I guess you could take them if you wanted to have an upset. I like Kansas City. They feel those old Ravens breathing right down their throat.
Well, also we could start quoting all the Andy Reid records coming off a bye.
Yeah. Andy. I am a little concerned though. Mahomes all of a sudden is getting sacked a bunch. And I don't know what's going on. I got to look at that line closer. Jimmy and I kind of split up some assignments for Saturday morning. That'll be mine.
By the way, I just got a text that Flacco is working out in Cleveland today.
That makes sense. Joe's been dying to play. And
I was surprised the Jets didn't bring him back.
Me too. Joe, I don't think, wanted to go back, and I'll tell you why. His agent's Jimmy Miller's agent. They promised Joe, his last time in New York, they promised him that he'd compete to start, and they never did it. And he was pissed. Yeah, he should have been on a team by now with all these injuries. Yeah.
Well, and also, Pat, I mean, I get the whole sometimes you look at the young quarterback and you think at this point he's got a higher ceiling than the 38-year-old guy. But when your quarterback gets hurt in the second quarter, the 38-year-old guy has a much better chance of getting the horse in the barn than the young guy without a week of practice.
There's no doubt about it. Coming off the bench,
right.
The old guy wins every time. And the coach, the OC, always loves the older guy because the playbook's open.
Right.
With the kid, you got everything on a piece of paper. I mean, this is all he can do.
I mean, the older guy, if for no other reason, the older guy can handle the protections. He can go to the line. He sees the blitzes. He's seen it all before. He'll make sure they're at least in the right protection.
Yeah, and that's really important. And the older players on the team feel they got a chance with him. The Brown players are going to think, with Flacco, we got a chance. Dorian is going to get destroyed. How about his quote? What did he say yesterday? We were making fun of it too, because his statement was, where did I put it? I was laughing so hard at him. Oh, I know what to expect. That was his quote. I know what to expect. Dorian, how do you feel about getting ready? He goes, well, I know what to expect because I've played before. So a Steeler fan called and said, well, he's pretty close in that comment. What he should have said was expect the unexpected, because here it comes. They're going to beat him to death. They're going to overplay the run on first and second down. Then they're going to blitz the living daylights out of him. He won't make the game. You know what? To your point on Flacco, I'd sign him today and play him on Sunday.
Come on now. Although, he's only 2 days behind Dobbs.
Right.
Thank you. He's been in every offense. Remember when he was in Baltimore, they had 6 coordinators?
Yep.
He knows every offense. Joe. Well,
Yeah, that probably has to do with why he was able to pick
Let
up.
me ask, yeah. And why isn't he on the Giants?
Oh, don't, please. There's a part of me that thinks they're actually now tanking.
So, at the end of the season, they're going to fire all 3 coordinators. Don't quote me on that.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Talking week 11 of the NFL with Pat Kirwan. NFL Radio's moving the chains, 3 to 7 weekdays, 2 to 5 on Saturdays. Sundays, he's with the gang at CBS. In the NFL today, Bill Cowher and the gang. Pat joins us Tuesdays and Fridays during the season, courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, a dozen locations in between Pinchers because you can't fake fresh. Before we get to the Eagles and Chiefs, because you pretty much already rattled off who you like in the other games. The Jets and the Bills. On Tuesday of this week, which is an off day for the players, pretty much league-wide, the Jets showed up at Florham Park team headquarters to have a team meeting, players only, and the Bills fired their offensive coordinator. Does this seem as bad from the outside as it looks for both?
Well, team-only, player-only meetings have a very good chance of being a complete backfire. Like, I don't even think it's a 50% chance of success that the meeting is going to have them walk out as a unified group ready to go and accept their faults. The conversations usually turn into, I tell you what's wrong with you, you tell me what's wrong with me, and then there's animosity. So I don't like those kind of meetings for starters. Once in a while, if you have good leadership, they actually are constructive. So there is problems there. I think the reality for Buffalo is they're so far below their expectations that there's frustration. And I do think the first thing I thought when they fired Ken Dorsey was, it's going to emotionally affect Josh Allen. He's going to feel terrible about this and almost guilty about it. And he's already said that it's been bothering him. But I do think they'll create a sense of urgency. We've talked about Sean McDermott, and maybe he's bitten off more than he can chew. He's got his hand in everything. But this will be a game that I believe they'll just right the ship here and get back on track. And with what happens to Cincinnati, they're all of a sudden going to be right back in this race. So I think they can survive it. The Jets don't have a quarterback. And we're talking about one team that has a great quarterback. Mark asked me the other day, do I still think he's elite? Absolutely, I do. But the guy Wilson, no. And I'm guaranteed that there's players wondering why he's still on the field. And that's not going away because the head coach has been steadfast. And I don't know who he's representing when he says those things. But no, I think the Jets situation, the defense can only do it for so long. And it's amazing how Pittsburgh's going. But this defense with what their quarterback, I don't think they feel like they have real chances. Well, although I will say Josh Allen has struggled against the Jets, man. 6-4 lifetime against them. 1-2 the last 3. 10 interceptions. 7 lost fumbles. The Jet defense thinks they can do that to them. They could win the game, but I don't think they will.
I just don't. Even if they cause the turnovers, it seems unlikely that they can score enough to win the game. But as David said, we do want to get with your thoughts on Monday night. Eagles and Chiefs. This is a Super Bowl rematch. We don't get these very often, particularly this late in the season. And both teams, well, the Eagles playing as well as anybody. The Chiefs starting to find themselves. Are you worried at all about the Chiefs' offense?
Yes, I am. And part of it's on the sack situation and what's going on the last 4 weeks. 4 games, he's thrown 7 touchdown passes. That's less than 2 a game, of course, on a team. Now, he's got the support of a defense that's better than it's been, but they're actually slipping a little bit too, if you look at it. So these things concern me with Kansas City. And I only use the last 4 weeks because that's how I was trained to scout anyway. And the last 4 weeks, it's 8 giveaways on offense and 3 takeaways on defense. That's a -5. The heck with the whole year. They are a -5. And when you get into games like this, if you have a negative number on the takeaway giveaway, you're going to have a problem. So that's one thing I worry about. The other one is the sacks. All of a sudden, in the last 4 weeks, he's sacked 8 times. And this is the odd thing about, and I think Mahomes, when it's a big game like this, when I think this one has to count like that, he has no rushing touchdowns this year. And if you really remember how this guy is, he gets in the red zone. If Kelsey's doubled, he'll take off and he'll scoot in. So I kind of like to see him score 1 rushing touchdown in a game like this for me to feel good about those guys. I will take Kansas City in the game, though. Points scored, Philadelphia in the last 4 games, 28 points a game, but they're giving up 20. So there's a little room here. Their defense, to me, needs a little bit of a shakeup. So I like Kansas City in the game. The over-under was 47.5 on Monday. I would take the over in this game. I think they're both going to cut it loose. What I love about the two teams and why this probably is the Super Bowl preview, go look at their records against the playoff contenders now. Philly's 3-0, Kansas City's 3-1. They're beating the best teams, and I do think they're both going to be at home for the playoffs.
The Eagles defensively, first off, they lost a lot of guys off last year's defense, but they did that intentionally. But the secondary has been banged up. I mean, they've seemingly not had both corners healthy often this year. And then even when they've been healthy, Pat, I don't think Slay and Bradbury have been as good this year, even when healthy, as they were last year.
I agree with that. But the follow-up to that observation is who on Kansas City can take advantage of that?
I know.
So I think it's really the young kid, Rice. I think he's the one that will come through for them in the next month as we go forward and emerge as the right player to at least give us Juju Smith-Schuster kind of production all the time. So what has he done in the last 4 weeks? 17 targets. We need more there. 15 receptions. That's good. 2 touchdowns. Okay. 13.6. He's the guy that has to come through for him.
To me, and a lot of Pacheco too, both running and catching the ball, Pat.
Thanks for bringing up Pacheco. The guy has no rushing touchdowns in his last 65 carries. So if Mahomes isn't running in for a touchdown and Pacheco's not running in for a touchdown, and we don't know who the elite wide receiver is going to be, it's still pitch and catch with one guy.
Yeah, I know, but Pat, nobody can stop it. I mean, I watched a Monday night game last year with the Raiders in which, Kelsey caught 4 balls, all 4 in the red zone, 3 of them for touchdowns. His yards per catch was less than 5. I mean, he gets in the red zone. He's a touchdown machine.
He is, and always has been and always will be. But when they go to radical coverage, I think that's when I'd like to see Mahomes take off. You mentioned, I'll give you Kansas City's run defense, because we know when you look at Philly, the quarterback is a big part of the run game, and that's why they're a top elite run team. But in the last 4 weeks, Kansas City has held people to 73 yards rushing a game. So their run defense is in pretty good shape. Now, Jimmy Miller brings up the Super Bowl to me yesterday. I started laughing. You remember that game? The field was wet. Philadelphia couldn't rush the passer. I go, Jimmy, are you still talking about that? Kansas City on the same field rushed the passer. Stop blaming a wet field. He still does. Sounds like he's a Philly fan, but he never admits it.
And of course, both teams coming off a bye, but Andy Reid's record is legendary coming off a bye. Chiefs a 2.5-point home favorite Monday night. I believe it's just the 7th time we have a rematch in the regular season of the Super Bowl.
Gosh, I wouldn't know that, but it's an exciting game to see. And Kansas City, you tell me, home field does count there.
Yes.
Yeah. I would agree with that. It's also the best smelling parking lot in the league. The barbecue smell is amazing.
Book your plane ticket now, Pat. You'll be there for the AFC Championship game.
I'm so excited to see that bartender again every year. Hi, Jack. How you doing, Jack?
The airport's really nice, though. You were right. They did a hell of a job at the airport.
Fellas, have a great week. As always.
You too, Pat. Be well.
Take care, guys.
Pat Kirwan, who will join us twice next week, Tuesday and Friday. Yes, we are doing a show on Black Friday. We've been asked a lot. Yes.
Pat Kirwan demands that we do a show on Black Friday. If he doesn't get the day off, damn it, we don't get the day off either.
He guilted us a couple of years ago. I mean, we do more shows than most everyone else does. And Pat basically said, yeah, you guys take too many days off. Damn. Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The picks are posted.
Awesome. Nice, Clark. Nice. Yes, because he's still using Felipe's login. He doesn't have a login yet. Although I thought, did you not get an email on that this week?
I didn't.
All right, I'll remind you, because he said he was going to send one.
Yeah. I mean, it's not super urgent, but like he said, yeah, it comes through as Felipe.
Right.
I don't want to.
Let me see. Where did I?
Not that I'm posting anything that would defame Felipe, but still. Let me double check real quick, Mark, before you send that. Just because
he said on Monday, he said he would reach out to you, but if he didn't, I will remind him.
And that would come to my Florida Sports Network
Yes.
email. Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Well, it doesn't matter. Bang, bang, you're dead. But that also could be we might be using.
Yeah, you got there late. We've already addressed it.
Oh, okay.
Just go back to whatever you were doing.
Well, I'm making sure, because they're turning off our water for an hour. So I'm making sure my mother-in-law is aware of that, because my mother-in-law is having trouble remembering things these days.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So do you guys know who Nick Wright is?
Yeah.
He calls the AFC Championship game the Arrowhead Invitational. Because what will this be if it's there this year? 5 in a row?
No. 5 or 6?
6, maybe? I don't know.
What is this in a row? 6 in a row.
This would be 6.
Okay.
They hosted the Patriots in 2018. They lost in overtime.
And have they been the 1 seed all those years?
No.
Okay. That's right, because the Titans were the 1 seed one of those years, right?
2021, Titans got upset, And when they beat the Bills in the 13-second game, it was 2-4. Also, the year they won the Super Bowl the first time,
Ravens, right?
The Ravens were the one, and Tennessee beat them.
That's right. That was crazy.
And then KC is the 2. And what made that crazy was Miami beat New England late in the season, so that New England wasn't through.
That's right. That was
KC, right. And so that dropped New England to the 3, and then New England got beat by Tennessee.
That's right.
And Brady's last game as a Patriot.
Memories.
Right. In 2018, they were the one. 2020, they were the one. And 2022, they were the one. So in the even years, they were the 1. In the odd years, they were the 2.
Just find a way to host that AFC Championship game. Yeah, Adam, no surprise that Dan Campbell's not interested in Texas A&M. I mean, of course he went there, but you'd be, leaving a great situation where everyone loves you, and you'd be going to finish 4th.
There's only 32 of those jobs.
Yeah, but the thing is, Texas A&M could pay him millions more than what the Lions could.
Yep.
With millions more than what he makes as head coach of the Lions. But Dan, once he left A&M, his whole career is in the NFL as a player and a coach. He hasn't spent a day in college football in 25 years.
Yeah, I mean, the football matters to him, and he
doesn't want to recruit.
He's
pro guys don't want to go recruit.
Right. Pete Carroll was one of the rare ones. He spent his damn near whole career in the NFL, and Pete said, yeah, I'll do the USC thing.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, our final segment along the network, Miller and Moulton, before we, at the top of the hour, start doing the Diamond District bonus hour for our loyal audience in Southwest Florida. We just had Pat Kirwan on, and he said, man, a lot of games are easy to pick this week. Do you agree?
I agree with him. I already made my picks for the week. They are written down as I wrote down the NFL games. We do the NFL games in this segment. There were only a couple of games that I was wishy-washy on. I thought the rest were, as Pat said, pretty easy to pick. So what do you say? Let's get to it.
Okay.
Starting with the Florida games, we both picked the Dolphins laying the 13 points. So we are obviously both picking the Dolphins to win outright against Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
Do you give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers any shot at San Francisco? I don't, for the record.
I don't, because they can't run the ball. Like, there's two things I think you have to do to have a chance against the Niners. You have to run the ball decently, and you have to be able to pressure Purdy. I think they might be able to pressure him, but I don't think offensively they can be multidimensional. I think they'll struggle to get to 50 yards rushing, quite frankly, against the Niners. And so one-dimensional against that defense, the pass rushers that they have, I think it's much more likely, Mark, that Tampa gets whacked than that they're within 4 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they played last year, right, and got whacked pretty well in that one. So I don't expect this to be much different. Tennessee at Jacksonville. You pointed out earlier, this game is a little more rivalry to it than what people on the outside actually realize. These two teams do not like one another. You brought up the example of how Jacksonville won against Tennessee to get into the postseason and kind of rubbed it in a little bit. I just don't think Tennessee has a whole lot there. Jacksonville's defense has been playing pretty good with the exception of last week. That doesn't necessarily point to their defense. It points to how inept their offense was against San Francisco. They rebound and get the job done against Tennessee.
Tennessee can still rush the passer, and the Jags offensive line last week really struggled. Mark, if we're going to have a game, It's because of that. The Jags are only 2-3 at home. They're 4-0 on the road. They're only 2-3 at home. Just throwing that out there. 1-1 in the division.
You taking Jacksonville though?
Oh no, I'm taking the Jags, but I do think this game. I think a lot of people look at the number at 7 and they think, "Oh, Jackson." I actually think that that's right on the money.
You know, one of the main reasons why I hate calling them the Los Angeles Chargers is because the song doesn't flow. It's San Diego
Superchargers.
San Diego
Chargers.
But song, no song. It's Green Bay. The Charger Roadshow gets it done. They get to 5-5, and we're talking about the Chargers as a 7 seed next week after they win in Green Bay.
If you think about it, the Chargers had won a couple in a row, and then they lose on the final play of the game to a team that we think is one of the top 5-6 teams in the league. And they're top 3 in the NFC, right? Where would we put Detroit if we were putting them in the AFC right now? You put Kansas City and Baltimore ahead of them? Okay. Anybody else? I mean, the Miami-Detroit game would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Would be a great game.
Yeah, it'd be exciting, probably high scoring.
That'd be a great Super Bowl right there. Stylistically, I think we'd really enjoy that game.
Wow. Just for 2 fan bases. You just hypothetically put the Lions in the Super Bowl. That's bad enough. But you also
the show. He fell out of his chair. I think he's concussed.
Yeah. But you also did it with the Dolphins.
Well, I mean, they can't meet in the playoffs. The only game they could meet in is the Super Bowl. That's all.
I mean, that was during Reagan's first term the last time they were in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's been a while. Wow. Yeah, the Chargers should win. They're better. I mean, they're not better coached, but they have far more talent. That's for sure.
David already picked Washington to win and cover the 9 points, so we know he's taken the Washington Commanders. I will do the same. The Giants are a hot mess. They are one of the 2 worst teams in the league right now. Maybe the worst team in the league right now.
The key thing, though, for Washington, let's face it, we all know Ron Rivera's getting fired. All right, that's going to be complete regime change. Could be Belichick. Maybe it's somebody else. But did they find their quarterback? Sam Howell leads the league in passing yards. Now, they're having to throw the ball way too much, and they are 4-6. But he's played pretty well this year, and he's getting sacked a lot. Now, some of those are on him. He holds onto the ball. But, Mark, let's face it. When you're not thought of, they were 8-1 last year. Nobody was really talking about the Commanders this year. What is this year all about in Washington? Sam Howell. So what if they go whatever they go this year? 7-10, 8-9, whatever. But at the end of the year, they go, you know what? We got a quarterback. Isn't that a successful year in the grand scheme of things?
Right. With the new coach coming in, a lot of excitement to look at for the Commanders.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then also we don't have to spend time and money and resources on trying to find a quarterback. And, that to me is the interesting thing here. Sam Howell, who did not play well against the Giants and all the blitzes the first time around, does he handle that better the second time around?
Arizona at Houston, and I am going to shock you here, David, because I am taking Arizona. I think after the big win for Houston, they are due for a letdown. They've been playing really well, and at some point, the bubble is going to burst. It's going to be this week against Arizona. Arizona is going to score enough to beat them. In an upset, I am taking the Arizona Cardinals over Houston.
Well, it's a trap game in between Cincinnati and Jacksonville. The Texans host the Cardinals. I will say, doesn't this line surprise you? 4.5? I mean, didn't you think? I mean, Houston's 5-4, Arizona's 2-8.
But they played hard, those 2 and 8. That's why I think the line is what it is.
But I was a little surprised this isn't closer to 7. But I think Houston wins, for the record. I think that they're too young to fall into the trap of thinking that they're good, if you know what I mean. I think this year they show up every week. They may fall victim to a trap game next year. I don't think they fall victim this year.
I just think they lay an egg. I think this is the one bad game, and not necessarily because it's a trap game and they're overlooking Arizona. It's the NFL.
I hear you.
Stupid things happen. Detroit is hosting Chicago. Detroit's a 7.5-point favorite. We were talking about this during the break. Trent somehow is nervous about this game. He shouldn't be. It is the Chicago Bears. Detroit will take care of business. There's not one area where Chicago's better than Detroit. There's not.
Let me ask you this, from a Lions perspective or a Bears perspective, because Fields is coming back for this game. Do you think that gives them a better chance to win or less of a chance to win? And that may sound like a ridiculous question, but this is Fields' first game back.
Slightly better, only because anytime a quarterback can do things with his legs, it can give problems to an opposition defense. And I think Fields running is the only thing that would scare me if I'm a Lions fan. That's the only thing.
Okay. I think the half a point might scare a few people here too. It's 7.5. But Detroit at home, they score a lot. They should do so again this week.
Pittsburgh at Cleveland. DTR starting at quarterback for the Browns. I think it's going to be I don't think either team gets to 20. In fact, I would be surprised if either team gets to 17.
Huh. They played on Monday Night Football, week 2. The final score was 26-22. Each team had a defensive score in the game. May have to do it again.
Hunt was playing.
You mean Chubb was playing?
Chubb was playing. I'm sorry. Chubb was playing.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh because I don't like their choice at quarterback, number one. And the Steelers, although, the Browns have won like 5 of 6, and the only game they lost was that crazy ending in Seattle. I mean, they actually have mirrored one another. Cleveland's been involved in a couple of higher scoring crazy games, but they've actually playing pretty much the same way. Messy, close, find a way to win it late. Mark, can Pittsburgh do it for the 10th consecutive week? Can they be outgained for 10 consecutive weeks? They're 6-3 having been outgained. That is almost impossible to do. Can they do it for a 10th straight week?
I actually think they'll outgain Cleveland because I'm with you. They picked the wrong quarterback, and Pittsburgh is going to have a feast on him throughout the game. Final score 15-12, all field goals.
15-13 Steelers. I do like the fact that in the last 2 weeks they found their running game. I think the change in running back 1 will be very beneficial to them this week.
Dallas is at Carolina. Big number. Dallas is going to win the game. It's just a matter of whether or not they cover. Dallas is heading into a Thanksgiving week game. I somehow think Carolina covers this game, that the final score is like 30-20.
Okay. Can I just give you an example of the Cowboys against bad teams this year?
Yeah, they've beat them up, everybody but Arizona.
Right. They beat the Giants by 40 and by 32. They beat the Rams by 23. They beat the Patriots by 35. They beat Garrett Wilson there in the Jets by 20. They beat up bad teams. That defense's speed on defense overwhelms bad offenses. And Dak against bad teams is elite. CeeDee Lamb, by the way, is leading the league in some stats. I mean, they are starting to get the ball to him. I wish they'd find somebody else, but they at least are getting it to 88. If you bet this game, you got to bet the Cowboys.
No, I'm with you. And I had Dallas written down and I crossed it out. I couldn't take another double-digit pro team. Seattle at the Rams. This game is a 1-point spread. The Rams have done very well in their history against Seattle. Stafford back for the Rams this week.
Do you think the Rams are going to sweep the Seahawks? Sometimes I fall victim to that question with division rivals. Because remember, this was the week 1 surprise. The Rams went into Seattle and they whooped the Seahawks, especially in the second half. They humiliated them. There's just a part of me that thinks, come on, Seattle can't lose to the Rams twice, can they? And it's a virtual pick 'em. Seattle by 1. So I would take the Hawks. In fact, I had it written down and crossed it out.
The Rams have something against Seattle.
They do.
Taking the Rams because they own Seattle.
They do. They went there with John Wofford at quarterback and won a playoff game in Seattle. Yeah, you're right.
Jets at Buffalo. How tempted are you to take the Jets?
I do think the Bills are a mess, and I do think the Jets have a thing with Josh Allen. The last 2 times they played him, they have beaten him up and forced 7 turnovers. But listen, the Jets are about ready to implode also. That defense has had it with the choice at quarterback. And I actually think the Bills defensively showed a little something against Denver. And I think they'll keep Garrett Wilson in enough of a check. Breece Hall concerns me. He ran the ball really well against them week 1.
Yeah.
That, to me, is the key to the Jets winning is can Breece Hall have 100-plus yards? I would take the Jets and the points because the Bills are 0-6 in their last 6 games against the spread. But I see the Bills winning.
If I put Diggs targets at 10.5, where would you go?
Under, because I think they made, first off, DJ Reed did a phenomenal job against him. But then when he lines up on the other side, Denver used, who was it? Surtain. He followed Diggs 75% of the time. Diggs had 3 catches.
5 targets, 3 catches. I just think they're going to force feed Diggs the balls.
And I think that if that starts to happen, Gardner will go one-on-one on Diggs and take him off the field. Because Surtain did it. They did not throw the ball Diggs' way when Surtain was on him. And I don't think they'll throw the ball at Gardner either.
All right, we're running up on time here, but Denver hosting Minnesota. I've got the Broncos.
Yeah, I got the Vikings. Short week. Okay. Asking for too much out of Denver here. Offensively, they're still, the Vikings score points and Denver doesn't. Minnesota close.
But Denver's defense has picked it up, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game. So there's our NFL picks. We'll get into the Monday night game on Monday between Kansas City and Philadelphia, as David will join us from Kansas City for that very game. Along the network, thank you so much for listening. Have a terrific weekend. We'll be back on Monday morning. For those in the 239, the Diamond District Bonus Hour is next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd rolled out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA-certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA-certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail
The
East.
law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Just looking up some stuff here. I just came across Stephen Wright lines. I'd kill for a Nobel Peace Prize. Borrow money from pessimists. They don't expect it back. Half the people you know are below average.
I saw Stephen Wright at the Barbara B. Mann.
Oh.
That third hour on Fridays is so fun. Pat Kirwan for 2 segments, and then you guys just pick every NFL game. It's just, NFL overstimulation. What do you guys do when it's not NFL season?
I would talk about the NFL.
Yeah.
You can talk about the NFL till May.
Yep, agreed.
You can get through the draft.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for being with us on this Football Friday.
Football Friday.
Where we're still in our 3-point stance and ready to take you on. We're ready to do the Oklahoma drill. Let's go. Greg Gard, the men's basketball coach at Wisconsin, is scheduled to join us in about 20 minutes. You know, next week, huge college basketball week in the 239. You got the dueling tournaments there. The Fort Myers tip-off at FSW, the Gulf Coast Showcase at Hertz, and you got a men's and women's tournament at both. You got Tennessee in the headline game of the women's game at FSW on Thanksgiving Day. And then you got Caitlin Clark in Iowa coming for after Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And right now, looks as if FGCU in Iowa is scheduled to meet in the second round. Huh. That's about as good as we can do college hoop-wise in the 239 next week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The tournament at Hertz for the men is a solid, low major, mid major tournament. The tournament at FSW from the men's standpoint is elite.
And they announced yesterday that they've got two divisions. They've got the Power 5 schools, as the elite, and then they've also got a division which is more mid major. And but they announced that the Power 5 games are sold out. Wisconsin's bringing a lot of people. Imagine that. Right.
This just in, there's a lot of them already here. Judging by license plates and Packer bumper stickers that you see on a daily basis.
And the football team's 5-5, and the Packers are 3-6. So it's college hoop season, baby.
I got to give it up. There's, David, I attend church with the wife and daughter because I have to.
Yes, we know.
And I laugh because there are people who, and I'm a Catholic, so there are people who bring these little communion if they're taking it to someone who's sick.
Right.
The host. And every week there is a lady that walks up on Sunday morning, and every week she has her Packer shirt on. And it's one thing to wear your shirt each week when the team's winning.
Mm-hmm.
It's another every Sunday to put that Packer shirt on and walk into church proudly saying, I'm a Packer fan. We're going to lose by double digits, but damn it, I'm still praying for him.
You respect her more this year than you did previously.
Hell yes. Anybody can wear the gear when you're 7-2. When you're 2-7, that's when it's a fan.
Let alone the fact that those colors are just so ugly together.
Green and gold?
Yes.
Stop.
You like green and gold? I think it's the worst color scheme in the actually the Browns are probably the worst.
Yes.
Yes.
Packers are bottom 5. Chargers are number 1. There.
It's once again the whole Lions thing. It overtook him there.
It is. Okay. He has said the one statement he has made. We have not jumped into Trent's personal life much on the show, but I asked him point blank if he could date, if there's a fan base that he couldn't date someone because Trent is single, and he said I couldn't date a Packer fan.
Yes, you could.
It would take a lot.
No, actually, it wouldn't take much at all.
No, I don't think it would take.
No. I mean, this is so cute. Okay, it wouldn't take much at all. Okay, that when you see her, okay, you go, oh, that's it. That's all it would take.
That's all it would take, and she would say, "I like you," and then she'd go, "I'm a Packer fan," and you'd go, "Well, this is going to be difficult."
No, you would say to yourself, "Well, I could make allowance for one."
I would need the kids to be Lions fans. I wouldn't take no for an answer. And as long as that's okay,
That's
we can
cute
go from
too.
there.
He's cute.
No, that's hysterical.
They're so fun when they're young, David.
Aren't they great? He just turned 24.
Yep.
Oh man.
Listen,
Yep,
that one is non-negotiable. I have seen
right.
Not giving
Okay.
them up.
Yep. Hey, listen, I didn't think we'd go down this road on the air, maybe during a commercial break on Twitch, but since you opened the vault, Trent, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. See, they're the ones that produce the kid. They get to make more of the rules than we do. Okay. Because they always get to go, I'm sorry, who pumped that kid out? And we don't have an answer for that, Trent, ever. There is no answer to that one. So trust me, tie goes to the runner, tie goes to mom.
I've done for 9 years. I have tried to convert my daughter, who doesn't even really like hockey, from being a Penguin fan into a Red Wing fan. And it's close. And it's only close because my wife understands that Sidney Crosby's about to retire and that she can let me maybe have one. But when it comes between the Steelers and anyone else, there was a terrible towel in the birth room. You've got no say, man.
No.
None.
You don't.
Well, I'm going to die trying, and I might die.
You will. You'll die on that vine. And you'll lose quickly too. That's the other thing. You think this is going to be a long, drawn out process. No, actually, it's going to take about a minute and a half. I mean, it really is. But, it's cute. You're still thinking things are black and white. And, it's funny to listen to. It really is. Okay. I just hope we're there. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're marrying, okay, a Packers season ticket holder. That's just, I just hope we get invited.
I got to start looking around for like a Chargers fan.
There aren't any.
A likable, maybe a Broncos fan.
And remember, her side pays for it. So the wedding's going to be where she is. So, it's going to be in Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. It's going to be fantastic, too.
I hear Sheboygan, Wisconsin's really nice.
Especially, just do it on a bye week. That's all. All right. Hey, big story last night in sports. We haven't gotten to it today. So, Carissa Thompson. And she said, when I was the TV sideline reporter, sometimes I just made up the report. Now, she actually had said this before. Her and her best friend, Aaron Andrews, they do a podcast. And about a year and a half ago on their podcast, they both acknowledged that, there are times when the coaches are completely uncooperative. And they even said, I'll be honest with you, when they're completely inappropriate. And so we've kind of covered for them at times.
Taking liberties was what was the phrase that was used in the podcast with Aaron and Carissa.
Right. Carissa gave an example in which she walked up to a coach coming out of the locker room and, said, Coach, what adjustments are you going to make at halftime? And he said, that's a great perfume you're wearing. She's like, oh, great. What am I going to do with this? Okay. She's like, I got to get, I got to move on from this. I'm not going to subject myself to this. So then when it came time to throw it to her, now, you could argue she should have said, Coach didn't talk. I got nothing. But I've got to admit, it's not what the network wants. The network wants something. I mean, what do you mean? Didn't talk. You don't have anything? So she
comes up with the proverbial, we got to be better on third downs. The energy
Right.
was a little low. We're expecting to have a better pass rush this half.
Right.
They said all generic things, basically, that the coach wouldn't even be able to combat, if you will.
Right. That if he was watching the game broadcast, he would go, well, I didn't say that, but I don't have a problem with that. Well, Carissa Thompson's getting absolutely shellacked. I mean, every single network sideline reporter took to social media to just eviscerate her. And a lot of other people too. Now there is the, sector of the population that goes, yeah, I got to admit, sideline reports don't do much for me. I don't really care. I will say as a viewer, I much prefer the 1 or 2 question interview with the coach than the reporter talking to the coach off air and reiterating what it is that coach said for us on the air.
Yeah, there's enough recording devices in the truck that whenever the coach wants to give his 30 to 90 seconds, that there's a replay machine available for it.
And I understand that sometimes, coaches go too long with their answers, and timing wise, it can be awkward. I think we all understand that, but that's just a preference of mine. I'd rather the generic, if I'm not going to get anything out of this sideline report, if you know what I mean, I'd rather not get anything from the horse's mouth. So there were a few people who last night that I was texting with thought she may lose her job. I think that's laughable. Excuse me, for two reasons. First off, Amazon released a statement at like 6 o'clock last night going, guys, she told a couple stories about things that happened over the last 15 years. Get over it. That was Amazon's statement. And as for Fox, I know for a fact Fox loves her. And her and EA are best friends, and they love her too. And she hosts the 11 a.m. show on Fox. I don't think she's a sideline reporter anymore.
No.
I think she's an anchor.
She is.
So my thought, Mark, was that maybe going forward, you can never put her on sidelines again.
I don't think there is a way to. In fact, there is no way you could ever put her on the sidelines again. But if you want to have her host,
their
roundtable discussions, I don't think that matters. I think the point that you made, and it's not a knock on the sideline reporter, but it's that they don't get us, for the most part, a lot of information. The coaches don't say anything. We've made it now a requirement of television to have a sideline reporter or two at every game. Now, when you were doing the Monday night game and Michelle Tafoya is getting the information she's getting, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Lisa Salters is an Emmy Award-winning reporter, and she gets good information. But there are also times in which the coaches just don't want to talk. I mean, we couldn't get a thing out of the Jets when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Not a thing. Not a thing. They would not say a word. We literally, and when I say we, okay, I'm talking about Monday Night Football. We were looking at Twitter and then going to the Jets going, so-and-so is saying this. And they were still like, yeah, nothing. You ain't getting nothing from us. And that network pays $2.7 billion a year, by the way, for the NFL. $2.7 billion. And they couldn't get anything from the Jets, information-wise, about the Aaron Rodgers injury. So, but anyway, it's a big to-do on social media. It wasn't a Friday news dump. It was a Thursday news dump. But do you think anything will happen to Krista Thompson?
No.
I don't either.
No, I don't.
Except you and I both think she'll never be on the sidelines at the network level again. That she'll be behind an anchor desk, but not on the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't know how she can be a reporter, if you know what I mean. She can be a host, but her ability to report information is largely gone now. So that's the other story. We've talked a little Michigan, a little Thursday night football. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Today was a day one, and what's on tap still ahead.
Visit Jason and Todd. Diamond District.
Jason and Todd are excited to kick off the holiday season at the Diamond District with their biggest diamond event of the year. This weekend, November 17th, 18th, and 19th, Jason and Todd roll out the red carpet for you. Come view the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. Many jewelers talk about selection, but no one walks the walk like Jason and Todd. With over 6,000 square feet of showroom filled with stunning fine jewelry. They'll be in the store all weekend to work with you personally and make sure you get the lowest prices on all fine jewelry, GIA certified diamonds, diamond engagement rings, bracelets, diamond studs, and more. Takori, America's top bridal designer, will join the Diamond District with her entire collection of over 500 new bridal designs. If you're in love and want diamonds, now is the perfect time to visit the Diamond District. Jason and Todd will also throw in 3 years interest-free financing on what they promise to be the lowest prices on diamonds anywhere.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We're not pushing this segment back at all, are we? We're just because Greg Gard's calling, but is it just going to be a quick interview then? I'm assuming.
Yeah, we have 10 minutes. I mean,
okay, cool.
They host Robert Morris tonight, by the way. They host Bob Moe tonight.
That who Wisconsin's got?
Yep, they're 1-2 on the season.
If you guys get a chance, you should try to squeeze in a question about how physical the Big Ten is and why nobody can ever do anything in the tournament.
Yeah, that's definitely what Big Ten coaches want to answer. Hey, how come you guys can't win national championships? I'll hang up and listen.
Oh.
They got Virginia Monday, 6 o'clock, FS1.
David, that's one of Tom Izzo's favorite answers ever. When you ask about the team being banged up or the physicality, he's like, have you watched Big Ten basketball?
Yeah, well, if they called Big Ten basketball the way they should, this wouldn't happen. This is a Big Ten fault. I do want to ask him, though, about coaching in the NIL world, how different it is now trying to do this in the NIL world. Because we've not really had a big-time coach, college coach on since we've gone NIL.
Yep.
No, Adam, I do not have any Crocs in the repertoire, but now that I'm down here, that might be next on the
And there's
list.
nothing wrong with Crocs and socks, Adam. There's no, and I don't own Crocs anymore. I don't know what happened to my Crocs. I had a pair. They were the Super Bowl gift in Miami, like the media gift that they gave everybody a pair of Crocs for when we did Radio Row one of the years we did it.
That's nice. I had Honolulu blue Crocs.
These were pretty Honolulu blue. They were blue. They were Florida Gator colors mainly.
Okay.
They've got the hotline number, so
let's just hope they know it's 9:20 Eastern.
Yep. And the emails confirmed it, but
Yeah, nothing yet. But Mark, I'll give you the thumbs up.
Okay.
fortunately, it's a short segment, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. No call?
No. Here you guys go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when, along with some final thoughts on this third Friday of November. It's the weekend before rivalry weekend in college football, and it's an interesting NFL weekend with a lot of mismatches mixed in with some division games. And it's not often that the headliner of the, football weekend, quite frankly, is Monday Night Football.
No, it's been a long time since you really can point at. There's one game to watch this week. It's
Right.
Monday Night Football.
Right.
A couple other games. The Jacksonville, Tennessee game's nice. Pittsburgh, Cleveland's a solid game. But the NFL eyes are all on one game this weekend.
I was surprised, unless my information is wrong, this is only the 7th time that the teams who met in the Super Bowl the year before are playing again in the next regular season. Teams that won the Super Bowl, by the way, are 4-2 in the rematch. What's interesting to me, anyway, is Troy Aikman, who's calling the game, played in one of the 6 rematches. Buffalo beat Dallas in early 92 or 93, the second game of the season. Emmett was holding out. Buffalo beat him 13-10. Jimmy ran to the podium and basically said to Jerry, "Get him in here." And 2 days later, Emmett had a long-term contract. And the Cowboys went and won their second Super Bowl. And then Joe and Troy called one of the other 6 rematches. Seattle-Denver had a rematch the next year, which Seattle won, just like they did the Super Bowl. So, only the 7th time, only the second time Monday Night Football's had the game. 50 plus years this franchise has been around. Just the second time. So.
Should be a great game. Pat Kirwan earlier on the show picked Kansas City to win it, picked it as an over, which has not been what the season, particularly in prime time, has delivered.
No.
Prime time has delivered a lot of unders.
Correct. And technically, Monday night was an under last. Now, yesterday was not an under. Ravens-Bengals went over. But by a point and a half, the Bills-Broncos was technically an under. So that's the headliner. As for college football this week, you asked me much earlier in the show, what's the college game? Okay. What's the college game that most interested me? And you probably pointed out that the Washington-Oregon State game is the most interesting game on the schedule. I mean, what, top 5 Washington, top 11, 12 Oregon State? I mean, from a headliner standpoint, it's probably the best game.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned earlier, it's November. We haven't had an unbeaten knocked off yet. When does it happen? When does the undefeated get knocked off its pedestal? And Washington's in the most vulnerable spot.
Because they've got the toughest road ahead. I mean, if you want to argue Michigan or Ohio State does because they have to play each other. But in Washington's case, I mean, they got to play at Oregon State, and then in all likelihood, they're going to get a rematch with Oregon. I mean, that's a tough road to hoe. Never mind, the rivalry game, the Apple Cup with Washington State, in which that'll be an emotional game, much like Bedlam, because, are we going to keep playing this game and you're leaving us and that sort of deal. So I don't think Washington can get through it unscathed. I'm calling for Oregon State. Technically, it's not an upset. They're a 1-point favorite or it's a pick 'em. But, I don't think Washington can emerge unscathed. And obviously, Michigan or Ohio State's going to knock the other off. So that if that happens, we quickly get to 2, right? Georgia, Florida State, and then the Big Ten champ. In theory. So we're down to 3.
On to 3.
Yeah. And now if Florida State will be solid favorites in their last 3 games. Georgia certainly this week, double digits on the road. Next week, they'll be
huge favorite against Tech.
And a touchdown against Bama. Now, they've never beaten Bama in the SEC championship game, which is interesting in and of itself. At least not, Nick. Nick hasn't lost to Georgia. He beat him in 2012. He beat him in 2018, and he beat him in 2021. And 2021 was when Georgia was unbeaten and number 1 in the country. And we could have the exact same scenario where most people think Georgia, at least in 2021, Mark, Georgia was in. When the game kicked off, everybody said Georgia was in. It'll be interesting if what we think is going to play out plays out. Will Georgia be in at kickoff of the SEC championship game?
And now with Harbaugh not coaching, Michigan loses a close game. How much would they factor in the head coach not being in there? Ohio State loses a close game on the road after already have beaten the teams that they have.
Right.
Beaten Penn State and Notre Dame.
And beat Notre Dame when they were unbeaten and ranked in the top 10 also. Beat Notre Dame at full strength. Notre Dame was steamrolling people when Ohio State played them. Hartman and that offense, they were rolling. So, but that to me, we got to have an upset, right? Mike in our Twitch chat room thinks Maryland upsets Michigan this weekend. I don't see that. Like if we asked a poll question, better chance of an upset, Maryland over Michigan or Tennessee over Georgia?
Wow. I would have to take Tennessee.
I mean, the line is smaller, but
and I don't know, when if Washington gets beat, it throws in so many other X factors to me, David, into this college football playoff. Because what does that then do to the Oregon-Washington game, the rematch? Hell, what happens if Washington loses 2 before the Oregon game? What does that do to the Pac-12? Because it's not like it couldn't happen.
Can Georgia get in the playoff losing the SEC title game to Alabama, where 2 years ago it was a foregone conclusion? Yeah, of course they're in. Mark, when these 2 teams played in 2018, Alabama was the unbeaten team. It was a foregone conclusion. They're in. This is just a matter of, can Georgia upset them so they can get in? And they had a 2-touchdown lead in the second half. And Alabama got in the playoff 2 years ago by upsetting Georgia. And then those 2 would meet a month later for the national title. But so I don't have any. If Hendon Hooker, if last year's Tennessee team was hosting this Georgia team, that'd be a different story.
But those receivers aren't there. That quarterback's not there. They're not the same team offensively, and it's not close.
No. Now, the interesting thing is, when the Schrader kid rushed for what he rushed for last week, everybody came to the conclusion Tennessee can't defend the run. To show how impressive that performance was by Cody Schrader, Tennessee was number 1 in the SEC in rushing defense before that game. So they actually, throughout the year, have been pretty damn good against the run. But Missouri ran a blocking scheme, a lot of cutbacks, and we'll see if Georgia tries to emulate that in any way. They've got a tailback who can cut back with the best of them in the conference also. So, we'll see. I mean, Georgia's struggled in some first halves this year. South Carolina, Auburn, even Missouri, they trailed at the half just 2 weeks ago at home.
But they are the heavyweight fighter that just keeps coming. And they found a few more weapons, and they're able, with their quarterback, to get the ball to a few more people. And that quarterback each week keeps getting better and better and better.
And last week, they got their best offensive lineman and their best player back. They got the tackle back, and they got Brock Bowers back. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. That's how we'll wrap up this Football Friday next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. David, somehow the call went to the front desk, got channeled back to Rachel Beasley, who walked in the studio in the middle of the segment and said, "What am I supposed to do with this guy?"
Yeah, David, you just missed a zoo.
Oh, well, I could tell that the call went elsewhere. I knew as soon as I saw a woman standing at the door, I'm like, I thought it went to B103 again. I went, oh, great.
Yeah, she popped up like in the little window. Her face showed up for the little room I'm in, and I was like, come in. I knew exactly what it was about.
Okay, I got to admit, I don't care. I'm sending Chris, and I understand he's not the PD anymore, but he kind of still is. Okay, I'm sending him a text that said, listen, we've had trouble in the last 2 months with guests calling in on the hotline. Sometimes the number works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it ends up in B103. Today, it ended up at the front desk.
And it's not the hotline, it's the studio line. Because I don't even know what the hotline is.
Well,
we just use the regular. I'm just saying when you send it, it's not the hotline, the studio line. It's all I'm saying.
And I know I didn't miss it because I was staring
Yeah,
right at this thing the whole time. It was the most boring segment.
Well,
for
I
me.
got an email from the Fort Myers tip-off guy saying they called the number and said it didn't work. Oh, good.
Well, we had phone problems earlier this week, so I don't know what's going on here.
Maybe they called the studio line and it didn't work, and then they just called the station.
That could be.
I'm sure that's what happened. So it might be something with our phone. Anyway, sorry, Greg. The one time I was going to get you guys to talk college hoops for longer than 2 minutes.
Don't worry. We will. We will. Just not before January.
I'm joking.
And we may next week.
We will for sure. Well, maybe.
Mark, when did you say you had Izzo on?
Oh, God, it's been
10 years.
Well, we've had him on. Do you remember the time he was at Dickie V's thing?
Yeah.
And we sent somebody there and they had a cell phone and they handed it to him. And in our final hour, we interviewed Izzo.
Yep.
We did Aaron Andrews and Izzo that day.
Wow.
We had Izzo in our final hour the night before they played FGCU. This is 12, 13 years ago because Dave Balza was still the coach. So this is pre-Andy. So this is November of 2009 or 2010.
Went to the Final Four both those years.
And he came on. He had just got done with practice. You could his voice was horrible. And he even said, I just screamed and yelled at him for 2 hours. If we play like we practiced, we'll lose by 20. And we were laughing, and we're like, nah, I think we know who you're playing tomorrow. We think you're good.
Yeah, well, his voice is never great to begin with.
No, I know, but it was just off
but it was
practice.
I believe it.
It was halftime of a game down by
Yes.
20. I mean, it was.
Trust me, I had when I had to set my phone up on the podium to record him, I would have to jack the volume way up when I was writing my story later because I couldn't hear anything he was saying when I'm transcribing it, trying to pull quotes. Especially after a loss, because he's all dejected. It's just blah, 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 blah.
So is the F1 race this weekend?
Yes.
Apparently, this is a monumental disaster.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, this is not working. That's ticket sales and just you name it.
Well, Adam going way back. Bert Sugar was our old guest. That I don't know if Bert rambled that much, but that's way before you found us.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. But that's 6 to 9. 9 to 10, it's the Diamond District bonus hour, baby. Just for you in Southwest Florida.
Got a text today from someone that said they visited Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, bought some earrings for their wife, and left a little note saying, thank you for sponsoring the bonus hour. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
You know who's in town this weekend, don't you, David?
Ha! Madonna. Beyonce.
To Corey.
I knew it was a one-name artist.
To Corey with their designs are in town this weekend. Great sales at the Diamond District. 8 to 10% above cost for certified GIA diamonds, as well as 3 years interest-free financing available. So stop by and see Jason and Todd at the Diamond District and make sure you tell them that Miller and Moulton sent you.
Did the guy show up with the boombox? Doing
no pictures, David.
No.
I like to think in my head that he did. Little Peter Gabriel playing.
In your eyes.
There you go.
Yep. Hey, I want to get something for my wife. Hold on. I have to get in the mood. Okay. Just play that in the background.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1863, we start. Lincoln begins his first draft of the Gettysburg Address today. 1869, the Suez Canal in Egypt opens. Love this one, David. Today in 1884, police arrest boxer John L. Sullivan in the second round for being cruel.
Wow. In the middle of the fight?
In the middle of the fight.
See, we really have gotten softer with age.
1933, the U.S. recognizes the Soviet Union and opens trade with them. The Packers become the first NFL team to travel by plane today in 1940. In 1953, the St. Louis Browns officially become the Baltimore Baseball Club. Jim Brown sets an NCAA record with 43 points today for Syracuse in 1956.
Finished fifth in the Heisman, by the way. Fifth. Well, he was black, and it was the 50s, so.
And he didn't play for Notre Dame.
Right. Yeah, because Paul Hornung won the Heisman that year, and Notre Dame went 3-8.
Right.
Right. Fifth, by the way. I forget who it was who wrote when Jim Brown finished fifth. There aren't four better players in the history of college football, never mind this year.
Today was the Heidi game.
Yes.
NBC cuts to Heidi and misses the Raiders rally to beat the Jets 43-32 today in 1968.
They would meet 2 months later at Shea Stadium in the AFL championship. Actually, it was only about 6 weeks later they would meet.
Today in 73, Nixon famously tells the AP, people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I am not a crook.
Which then opened up interpretation to what is the definition of a crook.
Something happened today in 1974 that's never happened before. It's never happened since. And it happened in Fort Myers, David. Bonnie Bryant becomes the only left-handed player in history to win an LPGA Tour event. It was the Bill Branch Golf Classic held in Fort Myers.
That's a great historical footnote.
Isn't that a fun fact?
Yeah.
Today in 1980, Geffen Records releases John and Yoko's Double Fantasy. Today in 85, he'd been on the air for a while, but it would all change because Howard Stern began broadcasting on WXRK in New York. They kind of took it and ran with it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he went from AM to FM. And he was pretty crazy on AM, but yeah, it reached a whole new level.
Earnhardt won NASCAR Sprint Cup today in 91. But I may have buried the lead because in 91, Fox Television aired the first ever condom ad. 1992, Dateline did a demonstration on how General Motors trucks blow up on impact. Turned out they rigged the test.
Right. It's actually one of the great success stories. It's kind of like Tylenol after the scandal, and yet Tylenol repackaged, rebranded, and became even more popular. I mean, everybody thought, well, that's the end of Dateline. Man, this show's not going to have any credibility going forward. And Dateline, which was not that popular 20 years ago, now is a staple on that network.
Right. 2003, at 21 years of age, Britney Spears becomes the youngest singer to get a star on the Hollywood's Walk of Fame. The first Twilight pitcher debuted today in 2008. Jimmy Johnson won the Sprint Cup for the sixth time today in 2013. Rock Hudson, Gordon Lightfoot, and Tom Seaver would have all celebrated birthdays today. Martin Scorsese is 81. Danny DeVito, Jim Boeheim, and Lorne Michaels are all 79 today. Tom Seaver would have been.
The Giants' starting quarterback is 79.
Tom Seaver, Danny DeVito, Jim Boeheim, Lorne Michaels all shared the same birthday.
And all but one of them had a personality. Care to guess which one I said didn't have a personality?
Got mine. Elvin Hayes is 78. Howard Dean is 75. And Butch Davis is 72. What did I miss, David?
The Terminator became the governor of California 20 years ago today, Schwarzenegger. Jesse Ventura, governor of Minnesota, Schwarzenegger, the governor of California. Which is more surprising to you?
Jesse.
I'm with
Because it's California. He's an actor. I mean, we had Reagan.
Yeah.
It's California. For Jesse to win the gubernatorial race in Minnesota is crazy.
He ran such a good campaign, too. Honestly, they could teach classes. They should teach political science classes about what an amazing campaign he ran. I witnessed the whole thing.
By the way, the golf tournament was held at Lockmore Golf Club in North Fort Myers. It was the Greater Fort Myers Classic. It was played as the Bill Branch LPGA Classic in 74. They did not sponsor it in 75 for those that were asking what course it was played.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
What do I have today? We got a 13-year-old that breaks a record for underwater magic tricks. That's our good today. Avery Fisher put her scuba gear on, went into a tunnel tank at the aquarium of the Bay in San Francisco, and performed 38 magic tricks in 3 minutes while submerged. It broke the record of 20. We go to British Columbia for the bad, where police responded to a call for help and arrived to find cries from a sad goat. They thought someone was shouting help from a ravine. Turns out it was a goat. And I don't know if I could tell anybody here, but I was not as prepared for the good, the bad, and the ugly today as I should have been. I mean, I completely balked.
It happens.
I was so
Friday.
locked into a football Friday.
So is the ugly your preparation for the good, bad, and ugly? You can get away with that.
That is the ugly today. But a plane turns back at JFK Airport after a horse escapes on board. A Boeing
what?
A Boeing 747 was en route from New York to Belgium, was forced to turn around after a horse got loose in the cargo hold.
Wait. What? We're flying horses?
Yes, we're flying horses.
I don't know. That doesn't seem to be the most comfortable. I mean, it gets pretty cold up there. I mean, you sure that thing is insulated, heated?
It was, but the horse got loose. They had to turn back and land the plane. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly. On the fly.
Well, of course the horse got loose. What, they have a stable in the cargo? I mean, where do you put the damn thing? You tie him to what? Exactly.
It's a dadgum good point, David.
I mean, I don't know. This seems just like a bad idea all the way around. How about we just put the sucker in the back and we drive him? I know it takes 12 days. How about we drive him?
To Belgium?
Well, that is a problem.
That is a problem.
How about a ship? Okay. Give him his own suite, room service. Yeah, anyway. South Florida in action, 9 o'clock tonight, ESPN2. Mark's taking UTSA and laying the 16. That's one of his 5 bets this week. Bulls need to win one of their final 2 games, either pull the upset here or beat Charlotte in Tampa next week to be bowl eligible. A couple of teams who need to win to be bowl eligible: Colorado, Washington State. They're both 4-6. They play 10:30 tonight on FS1. Dion and the Buffs are a 4-point dog at Washington State. So there you go. Another Dion game that's nationally televised. Who knew?
Ratings aren't as good as they were earlier in the season, David.
Ah, it's funny.
Nobody's going to watch Dion. Nobody. Come on.
It's funny when you lose 6 of 7, how all of a sudden there's not as much interest. So Orlando's in Chicago tonight. Oh, it's the NBA in-season tournament tonight, Mark.
You got it.
Oh,
After
yeah.
a couple
This
of
is
days off, we're
important.
back in group play.
Yeah. Don't ask me what group. Orlando's in Chicago, 8 o'clock. ESPN doubleheader, Sacramento, San Antonio. Tell you what, though, Wembanyama's team's 3-8. They're on national television every chance they get. I mean, hell, they're playing the Sacramento Kings, and ESPN's like, yeah, we'll put that game on. Okay. 10 o'clock, Phoenix and Utah. Both teams are below 500. Boy, what a banner television night this is on ESPN. My goodness.
Afternoon hockey today, David.
What?
The global series continues in Sweden. Leafs and Red Wings. Red Wings for the second game in as many days as the Leafs are a big favorite, minus 175 in that one. Buffalo plays Winnipeg, and the Panthers late night in Anaheim taking on the Ducks. Panthers expected to go with their backup goaltender, yet they're still a minus 175 favorite in the game.
They lost 2-1 to the LA Kings last night. Let's see if they avoid the doubleheader sweep in SoCal. So, got a college hoops. Ask Trent. A lot of games tonight.
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State. You've also got Michigan State Butler, two historic programs.
Miami this afternoon, CBS Sports Network, 3:30, hosting Georgia. I mean, there's no reason to get angry.
That's actually in the Bahamas, the Georgia-Miami game.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I said hosting. My bad.
By the way, I know no one cares about this, but last night, Dayton went on a 25-7 run to win the game over LSU. College hoops are back.
You're right.
No one cares.
No one cares.
I was excited.
Kentucky is playing a school called Stonehill tonight. Not Stonehenge, but Stonehill. They're a 34.5-point favorite.
Minnesota led Missouri last night by 20. And Missouri ended the game on a 31-9 run to win in the barn 70-68. There's your college hoops for you, Trent. We're paying attention. Don't you think we're not? Just because we don't talk about it doesn't mean we're not paying attention. And apparently this F1 race in Vegas is a horrible idea.
And FGCU hosts Missouri State tonight as well.
Oh, okay.
Just to finish out the college hoop. Sorry, before you get to the crash that is the F1 race.
Ooh, apparently this is not working. Vegas hates it. They're just shutting the whole thing down, moving things. The people there hate it. And apparently nobody wants to come and see it. So besides that, I have to admit, it sounded like a great idea, didn't it?
It really did.
Down the strip and the
F1
lights.
down the strip.
They're going to race at night. It's going to be amazing. Apparently, people said, nah, that's okay.
We'd rather go to the Golden Knights game.
Right. And for that matter, when are the A's coming to town?
We're a 3 pro sports team town. We don't need your stinking F1 race. We got a Super Bowl coming here. We got a real sporting event.
Besides, I just want to stand and watch what they're showing on the Sphere.
Maybe they could just put the amount of money they're losing on a daily basis on it and let that rotate. Miller and Moulton, have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy the football. We'll be back Monday morning, bright and early at 6 a.m.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI,